Oh, Elon. Elon announced today that he's working with a bunch of grievance organizations to police hate speech and harassment on Twitter. Congratulations. The people who hate you, always hate you, and are lying about you are still lying about you, because even after this meeting, they're now ragging on him still, saying he's unleashing hate, targeting underprivileged communities. So what a good waste of time that was. On top of this, Elon announced they're working with an organization that admittedly produced bots to interfere in an election, hurting Republicans, of course. A lot of people pointed out it was going to go like this because Elon's not firing one of the top people who was involved in censorship, calling Trump supporters Nazis, this guy, Yoel Roth. But here we go. Now Elon's coming out and saying, I'm getting attacked by the left and the right. That means I'm doing something good. And it's like, bro, you're getting attacked by everybody. Like, moderates are mad. It's not just conservatives. It's because independent voters, moderate voters, whatever you want to call them if they're voters, if that even matters in the culture war. That's what matters more. Independents and Republicans are basically like, dude, we have been compromising endlessly. And the left keeps making demands and Twitter kept giving in to their demands. And now that Elon's in, he's like, I'm going to keep giving in to the whiny demands. Okay, you know what, dude, I'm not paying for your garbage. I canceled Twitter Blue. I'm not paying for it. If you're not going to reinstate people, there was one guy who got reinstated. Maybe we'll see more. I still think it's a net positive. But dude, if you're going to start working with grievance organizations and active election manipulators, does not look like a good sign. So the moment you start fixing it, maybe then I'll consider paying. But we'll talk about that. I don't want to rant too much because we've also got, oh man, the White House put out this boastful tweet about how they were the Biden administration's leadership was resulting in a Social Security increase. And then it got fact checked by the community. Actually, that was Nixon, and it was automatic, and it was due to the insane inflation rate. So they deleted the tweet. They accidentally celebrated the fact that there's extremely high inflation under Joe Biden. Bravo. Major win there. So we'll talk about that. Plus the new Real Clear Politics projection. It has Republicans winning 54 Senate seats. New Hampshire is now flipped red, according to this projection. So we'll see. We don't know for sure. And Russia is saying the 5 nuclear powers are on the verge of war, and that's going to get really, really bad. I certainly hope not. So before we get started, head over to timcast.com. Become a member to support our work directly. As a member, you're keeping our journalists employed, and we really do appreciate it. You'll also get access to our exclusive, uncensored members-only shows. Those will go up Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. We'll have one of those for you tonight. You don't want to miss it. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends, and also, big announcement, go to losingmymind.net. I'm not sure if it's working on mobile yet, but this is the pre-save for the new song Genocide that we're releasing on Friday. If you take a look at that graphic, you might get a general idea of what the song's about. And I'll just leave it at that because this is YouTube. But again, losingmymind.net, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer. I don't know what Deezer is, but you can pre-save it so that come Friday morning, you'll be able to listen to the song. We have a video that's going live Friday first thing, and I'm sure it's going to piss a lot of people off, but it's YouTube friendly. It's just, directly mocking the people who are manipulating and trying to lie, cheat, and steal and manufacturing a narrative, as it were. So I'm really excited for this. Again, losingmymind.net, which honestly I could not believe was actually available, and I got it for $15. That's amazing. So super cool. Joining us today to talk about this and so much more is Lord Miles.
Hey guys.
Who are you?
My name's Lord Miles, and I travel to the most dangerous places in the world. So I've traveled to Afghanistan during the fall of Kabul, front lines of Ukraine in Kharkiv, London in some places, very dangerous places really. So just all around the world. I'll go anywhere.
Right on. You actually have fake immigrant IDs that you were talking about.
Oh, yes.
So that's crazy. So you found this at the border?
Yeah, so I went to the Mexican border at Eagle Pass recently in Texas. And the situation's really bad down there, Tim. I mean, when I was on the Mexican side, there's hundreds of these IDs just littered around, left behind by migrants, because if they can't see where they're from, they'll just send them back to Mexico, and then they can try again to come into this country illegally, bypassing the real people that are doing it properly.
So they have fake IDs to trick their way in. It's not just them walking through, it's them manufacturing fake documents.
But yeah, even manufacturing or bribing the police are very people that our governments are funding to actually protect our borders as well. So it's a terrible situation, Tim.
Right on. We'll talk about all that too. We got Luke Rudkowski of We Are Change hanging out.
Hey guys, interest rates are up, so I decided to wear my banker t-shirt to help people understand what a banker is with the true definition. saying that a banker is, quote, a ruthless scumbag who will eat your lunch and then charge you for it. This is a great way to meet like-minded individuals. I met a couple bankers wearing this shirt. Great conversations. And when you get this shirt, this is the main way that you support me and my efforts here. You could get the shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Thank you again so much for having me.
What I love about banks is that when you're poor, they charge you, and when you're rich, they give you money. That's amazing how that works, isn't it?
It's crazy. It's because they're using your money to invest. It's like a big pyramid scheme, and if you're invested in the pyramid, they want to reward you for getting into it. Good to see you, Miles.
Oh, thank you.
You were in Afghanistan too.
Yeah, it was lovely. Nice little lad's holiday, I guess.
Ukraine as well?
Yeah. A bit of London sometimes.
I want to go deep into all this and hear about the last year or so of what you've been up to.
Thank you, of course.
Also, I second Tim's statement about pre-ordering Genocide, the song. It's incredible. I worked on it. It was really fun to make.
He's got the best part in the music video, to be honest.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. The video's crazy. It's so wild. We made it. Anyway, I won't spoil anything. Get ready for that song coming out Friday.
Losingmymind.net.
I like it.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm Serge.com. Pleasure to meet you, Miles. Looking forward to the show.
Thank you, man.
All right. So, our first story, ladies and gentlemen. Elon Musk says he met with Latino civil rights leader, but the organization says she's a rogue ex-employee. Okay, sure. In a separate statement, the leaders of the NAACP, the National Urban League, and the National Action Network blasted Musk for unleashing the worst of human nature. You see, Elon, look, man, we were fans because you said you liked the Babylon Bee, because you pushed back on the establishment. And then the moment you get into Twitter, not even a week later, you go crawling to these organizations to try and he tweets this out, let them know how we're going to be handling hate and harassment. And what do? They attack you for it. Twitter owner Elon Musk, I love that phrase, said early Wednesday that he spoke with the leaders of various civil rights groups about his efforts to combat hate and harassment. Except one organization said he met with a rogue employee who was fired last month, and another attendee blasted the mogul for unleashing the worst of human nature. Actually said that he unwittingly freed people to unleash the worst of human nature, with communities of color and religious minorities bearing the greatest burden. So bravo, Elon. He tweeted, talk to civil society leaders about how Twitter will continue to combat hate and harassment and enforce its election integrity policies. Ah, yes. What's that all about? You see, I'm actually blocked from seeing the tweet from this DiResta woman. Yoel Roth says we're staying vigilant against attempts to manipulate conversations about the 2022 midterms. Read on for independent analysis of our team's work. And he linked to a woman who is an executive, I believe she's an executive or some high-ranking position, with new knowledge. An organization that was outed for creating bots for manufacturing or doing something. They sent them towards Roy Moore so that the media would think he was being propped up by Russians. That's what this organization was doing. And Elon's consulting them on an election integrity. Okay, I'll tell you what I think. The advertisers went to Elon right away and said, we're pulling out. He said, wait. Like, we're going to keep policing hate. Trust me. Don't leave. We need your money. And they said, we don't care. Then he said, okay, fine. We'll charge $20. Then the left said, nope, we're out. We're not paying $20. And he goes, okay, fine. $8. And you know, we said, we were like, okay, like if under the assumption that Elon was going to fix the platform and do right by free speech and actual American values, I'll spend more than $8. Then Elon has the nerve to come out and be like, actually, we're going to combat hate with the very same grievance organizations that will never be satisfied. And why? If they are satisfied, they cease to exist. None of these people are going to come out and be like, my job here is done. Fire me because there's no more hate anymore. There will always be hate. If it's not a racial slur, it's the word groomer. So Elon Musk pandering to these people is a waste of our time. I'll tell you this. I am not going to spend any money. Elon, he comes out and he's like, it's going to be $8. Keep complaining. All right, bro, look. I think there's a net positive here with you buying the platform. I'm not going to spend a penny. I canceled Twitter Blue. It was bad enough I had in the first place. The moment I saw he did this, I was like, okay, I'm giving them less money now. The moment he did this. So I'll tell you, if he releases the information on the DHS and how Twitter was colluding with the government, I'll pay $8. But he's also got to free the political prisoners and fire the people who were involved in the Hunter Biden laptop scandal.
Yeah, this was disappointing because he kind of tweeted it like he was bragging about it. And, you know, you mentioned some of the organizations, but some of them you didn't mention were individuals, the president and the vice president of the ADL, the NAACP, the George Bush Foundation. What, Satan wasn't available? Like truly, like are you kidding me? And then you're bragging about how you're going to be continuing the policies when it comes to your hate and election interference. And again, this clearly shows a signal that this is going in the wrong direction. And I'm happy at this time that I have my own website, that I have my own platform. You're probably happy, Tim, that you have your own platform as well, because at the end of the day, this is very disappointing news and shows us that we're going down a very bad road.
I'm a huge advocate of knowing thine enemy and working with your foe. I think Abraham Lincoln talked about it. The best way to win over an enemy, to destroy an enemy, is to make them your friend, your ally. Not only do you no longer have an enemy, but you have an extra ally in case another enemy appears. So I'm into this idea of like getting to know the people that are against you, but at the same time, Trump putting Bolton in his cabinet early on, bad move. Obama getting the Goldman Sachs team or all these like bankers into his in his inner circle right away. They start to manipulate you. When you surround yourself with people, you become those people. Like you are a result of your closest 6 friends or something. So at some point, you got to just cut. You got to cut and run and make a move. I think that Elon came into this with no real plan, and now he's trying to build the plan quickly. That's why he wanted to back out. But take a look at this. This is from the Federalist. Elon Musk taps Jussie Smollett hoaxer for Twitter censorship advice. Brilliant, brilliant. Look, man, I like Elon. He does a lot of really cool stuff, but he has an opportunity to talk to people, and he's choosing to talk to the people who made the problems. One of these guys says, what more evidence does Chicago police need to call what happened to Jussie Smollett what it is, a hate crime? This guy started calling this stuff out after we already knew it was a hoax. And so this is who Elon Musk is going to. Why? You know what, man? Elon, I got to tell you, he's very naive. I will say it again. I met up in Texas with a bunch of these big tech guys. A lot of them were apparently like worked with or friends with Elon. And it was amazing listening to them speak because they do not understand culture. They think it's a technology problem. The reason Elon Musk is meeting with these people is because he's probably like, everyone has got a good point to be made. Technology will solve the problem. And you're like, dude, independents and conservatives already have stated, we've compromised. We don't like the fringe cult weirdos, but they're allowed to be on the platform and say what they want to say. The fringe cult weirdos went to you and said, if you don't ban all of the people we don't like, we're leaving. And in response, what Jack Dorsey and Vijay did was, okay, wait. It's this simple. The right isn't leaving, even when we ban them. And the left is threatening to leave unless we ban more right-wingers. Hey, let's ban more right-wingers. Let's ban more independents and libertarians and liberals. And now Elon seems to be doing the exact same thing. Now it's early. We'll see what happens. Maybe this is a cold splash of water in the face that'll wake Elon up. And the reason why I'm frustrated about it and calling it out right now is because if we don't, Elon will walk down that path and Twitter will become worse than it was before. I think the ideal is build a neutral platform where everyone can coexist together. The reality is that can't function. You need lots and lots of small platforms that interact with each other. And so you need to censor and moderate Twitter, Elon. That is your job now. You own the network. You control the network. You are the one that needs to censor the network. Whether you're censoring it as American law, if it violates American law, then it's off the platform. Child porn, get it off the platform. That's your light censorship. Or if you're going heavy, it's up to you. But give the code out to everyone so that they can make versions of the site so that they can monitor it and do it the way they want. If they want to do, if you say the word the and you get banned off their platform, fine. But we need lots and lots and lots of terms of service right now. We can't rely on you and your network to do it. And we never should. We never should have to.
Yeah. So just to recap so people understand what's going on here, Twitter's head of safety specifically cited Renee DiRista. She's a part of the New Knowledge organization that that Tim just discussed with their activities, what they were doing before. She's also on video discussing censorship with Bill Gates. And then under that, Elon Musk was like, hey, we're also working with George W. Bush and the ADL, and we have a diverse group of voices here. No, you don't. You have a group of individuals who hate free speech. You have a group of individuals who have been trying to punish people for their political speech. And that's essentially what a lot of these organizations represented. I didn't know all of them, but some of the organizations that are involved here that are going to be continuing the policies, as Elon Musk said, is worrying, on top of what Elon Musk said after that, saying specifically it's going to take a couple weeks to make sure that people are unbanned from this platform. A couple weeks? What are we waiting for?
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah. I mean, look, you want me to come and spend money? Where's the good faith? This is the way I described it earlier today in my morning show. When I go to McDonald's, I can actually see the burgers under the heat lamps. I know they're sitting right there. You tell me you make burgers, I can see the burgers. Okay, I'm going to give you $8. Hand me one of those burgers. Elon Musk comes in, pay $8, and we're going to do these things. And I'm like, okay, well, show me that you actually do that, and I'll consider giving you money. For the time being, it looks like this is probably why he didn't want to buy the platform. It's not just about whether or not he can monetize it. It's that I'm willing to bet he knew, I wonder, that no matter what he does, the left will refuse to work with him. He's a billionaire. Communists don't want to pay for things, and they're not going to pay a billionaire. So maybe he was like, okay, if I buy this platform, there's a lot of communists in this company. They're going to quit no matter what I do. Advertisers are going to pull out no matter what I do. I better not buy it. Then he was forced to buy it. Now he's desperately pleading with them, please, please, I'll do whatever you say. They said they were going to, there's already ad agencies boycotting Twitter. So strip it down to the bare bones, make it a protocol or do something. Let the company just fizzle. Who cares, man?
Well, probably that Saudi prince cares. I think he's still got a few billion in the deal right now. I wonder if
Elon bit off more than he can chew with this one.
I wonder if the people that helped him, because he didn't front the 44 billion. I know that there's other people involved. The Saudi prince is one of them. If they have decision-making power, I don't think so. I think Elon's got sole decision-making power, but I wonder if they're like, are you going to make this profitable, dude? Because you said you were going to make this profitable. Now the advertisers are leaving. It's go time. What's the income model? He's like $20 a month. I mean, the way he went from $20 a month to $8 a month in like a day kind of indicates that he had no plan. And he's just like, almost like having fun at this point. So honestly, I don't think the whole like wait 2 weeks to unban people is that big of a deal. You know, we waited this long. It's been a year and a half. I think that 2 weeks is reasonable for a new owner to make a move on his network.
I disagree. If Elon Musk is not going to come in with a sledgehammer, he's never going to come with a sledgehammer. He's going to keep trying to say, okay, leftists, okay, I'm trying. Please, I know you're screaming at me because, you know, the reality is I don't like saying the right because post-liberals, disaffected liberals, they're not right-wing. I guess they are now, whatever. There's never any uproar. Like Twitter never feared that Dave Rubin or Carl Benjamin would march with a bunch of liberalists and classic liberals Twitter HQ with pitchforks. They've consistently feared it will be the left. No one cares when a bunch of rarely I should say, but it's happened. But the right typically doesn't start boycotts and go after big corporations. When they do, it works. But the left does it all the time. So right now, Twitter, be it under Elon Musk or Vijay Gadde, they know that they can do whatever they want, and the right has a higher tolerance for BS, and the left has zero tolerance. So if you want to create a balanced platform, you've got to give the left whatever they want, because the right, the adults, will roll their eyes and be upset about it. The left will have a temper tantrum, claim you're trying to murder them, and then quit the platform in anger, which is what's happening right now. But it does get worse. We have this in this tweet thread, Mike Cernovich. To give you the context for those just tuning in, Yoel Roth, a guy who claimed Trump was a Nazi, head of safety, says we are staying vigilant against attempts to manipulate conversations about the 2022 midterms. Read on for independent analysis of our team's work. Unfortunately, we can't because I'm blocked by a person I don't know. That's ideological neutrality, I guess, Elon? Elon Musk responded saying he's working with these grievance organizations. But this woman, whose Twitter account I can't see because I am blocked, is Renee DiResta. Mike Cernovich points out, Renee DiResta is the director of research at cybersecurity company New Knowledge and head of policy at the nonprofit Data for Democracy. New Knowledge got caught buying Russian bots to follow Roy Moore on Twitter during the 2018 midterms. It's an odd source to rely on for an independent analysis of the 2022 midterms. So where's the rest of Mike's tweets? Why are they breaking it up like that's kind of weird? They did that. Anyway, Mike Cernovich goes on to point out, for some reason, Twitter's not loading it. That's fascinating, I guess. There we go. When Russian bots began following Roy Moore in 2017, it was treated as a huge national story. Moore was mocked for blaming Democrats. Yes, Democrats bought the bots and hoaxed the willing press. Now someone who works for New Knowledge, the same firm, is on 2022 integrity. That's actually sounds basically as bad as the DHS conspiring with Twitter to manipulate elections. Elon Musk is now actively working with an organization that manipulated the elections to help Democrats. Okay. So, I mean, I'm sorry, guys, if it's a bit it's black pilling or whatever you want to say. It's pessimistic. It's what's happening.
What do you think, Miles, about this? Will this impact your use of Twitter? How do you think Elon? How do you think Elon is doing here?
Oh yeah, I've got no backup. I'm completely screwed on social media if it goes south. But truthfully, I never really had faith on Elon Musk because he's in bed with these people, these corporations and really powerful people. And no matter what, like a coach, you'll be pressured into it. Otherwise, you'll be kicked out of a circle and everything collapses behind you like a sandcastle when the tide comes in. These people are not living in reality, are they? They don't understand how things work, how society works, and also how a platform like this works. And no matter what, like Tim said, these people are children. They're going to throw a fit until everything collapses apart. Now, I just really hope Elon Musk gets to a point where he gets so upset, he just doubles down and just says, hey, guys, it's going to be a right-wing utopia, right-wing in quotations. And then those people will realize that their screaming and whining will not do anything. And then from there, something is actually built, something better for a future where we can invest knowing that our free speech will be upheld. But I don't see it happening. I'm pessimistic. But I guess we just gotta let it go and roll out and see what time says.
It's beyond just the woke left screaming, though. I mean, true. This is election interference. This is Elon Musk colluding with an organization that interfered in the 2018 midterms to help Democrats win.
As they're bragging how they're going to have control of this upcoming midterm election. They're literally saying, hey, same people that did this, we're the same guys who are going to be watching what's going to be happening in the upcoming midterm, and they're bragging about it. That's mud in your face. That's absolutely disrespectful. And as you mentioned, Miles, again, yeah, he has a lot of government contracts. He does a lot of business with China, and with that comes a lot of pressure, because when you're working with the government that's giving you a lot of money, the government could say, we're going to give you a little bit less. Oh, yeah. Those satellites, those spaceships. Maybe we don't want to finance you. Maybe we don't want to do this if you will do this or do this or do this for us. Musk also, promoted world government before. He's a transhumanist. He supported the vaccines, carbon tax, a universal basic income. So a lot of the policies that he puts forward should be obviously questioned, since I would say they go along with an agenda that is very questionable as well.
Yeah, it lines up a little bit with the World Economic Forum.
Yeah, a little bit too much.
I like that the guy likes memes. I like that he triggered a lot of these people. All those are net positives. And there was a Republican, I think, in Arizona who got suspended. Elon said looking into it, and the guy got reinstated. So we don't know for a fact Elon did that. There are net positives here. I don't want to come out and just be like, the end is nigh and Elon's terrible. I think there's bad things he's doing, and we need to tell him we will not tolerate it. So he's coming out and saying, oh, everybody's mad at me. He's like, the left and the right are both mad at me. And it's like, dude, who do you think is going to pay the money? The left hates you. They've always hated you. And they're quitting the platform and lying about you. They're coming out and saying, since Elon took over, hate's gotten substantially worse, despite the fact that Elon's team has said, no, we've actually been policing. These are bot accounts and we're getting rid of them. Doesn't matter. Democrats are coming out and saying that he's charging $8 for free speech. Maybe Elon must learn that these people are whiny babies that will never be satisfied unless you give them everything. And if you're not willing to give them everything, then you need to tell them to go bye-bye. There's the room. You can go hang out and play by yourself. Go to your other social media network, but they're not going to be here. They're never going to be satisfied.
Oh, exactly. And the thing is, too, these big leftist accounts, most of them are bots anyway. They have no real following in the real world. On paper, maybe, yes. But Elon has to remember, at the end of the day, the right-wing people are the ones that actually are supporting him, like you said. And if we get behind him and rally him to actually do the right thing, things will come together. At the end of the day, though, I think things are screwed. I think Elon Musk is going to crumble. He's going to give in. What do you guys think?
What about 750, Elon? Can we do 750? Yeah. I'm just
I'd
joking.
Pay
$6.99.
Look. I'd pay $20.
Yeah.
He's offering up for Twitter a suite of premium tools, and it does help get rid of bots, all that. I'm totally down for that. I do think he should be paying top creators, which he also announced is in the pipeline. But I'm not going to give any money until he frees the political prisoners. I'm not going to spend money on a platform that sucks. And Twitter's sucked for a long time. I barely care about it. I post garbage nonsense memes like advocating for war and neutering children. Come on.
or is taking the advice and policies from the people that made it suck and are going to make it suck that much more, which he's bragging about today, which again, it's still early. A lot of people are arguing like, hey, we're still not even a week in here. Let's give him time. Let's see what happens here. But I think during this time, I think we're at a crucial point where we need to hold his feet to the fire. We need to criticize him whenever he goofs up. I think this was a major goof up. I think this also highlights a major problem moving forward that could be very significant for the prospects of free speech. And I'm willing to pay $20. I'm willing to pay $100 if we have free speech. These organizations that he's working with don't support free speech, and that's a big problem.
It's funny. Elon did say he bought Twitter to help save humanity, right?
Yep.
What if his plan is to destroy it? Because, Twitter is just bad.
Well, he's got the spaceships too. He's planning to leave it and start his own humanity, I guess.
Yeah.
You never know.
You mean destroy Twitter, not destroy Earth?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same
Destroy
thing with
Twitter.
leftist eyes,
Oh, you meant
I think
destroy Earth.
he buys Twitter and then disassembles it and gives the parts out to the masses. It's brilliant. That's exactly what he should do. That's
I
why
think
free
that'd
software code.
be amazing, honestly. If just like, I would love to see it. Too many people tie their net worth, their personal self-worth, to their Twitter accounts, their verification badges, their following, and all that stuff. And I'm just like, we need to take a figurative bucket full of ice water and splash it in somebody's face. There are too many people that look at this and they're like, it's all I have. I would laugh if I woke up and Twitter was just gone. And when you go to twitter.com, it's a picture of Elon Musk giving a thumbs up saying Twitter was bad for you from the get-go, so suck it. I'd be like, ha!
Yeah, or the Doge dog.
Oh, I got my Twitter shares. I got cashed out. The money appeared in my account.
So you're in Doge now.
I just put it all in Doge.
It's not a bad idea. I've got about 6,500 Doge coins sitting there in the wings.
Because I think Doge is essentially going to be Twitter stock.
I'm optimistic about this because Elon essentially purchased Twitter off of BlackRock. He bought it away from the global cartels, the international, megacorps, and now he's taking it private, or it's about to become private. I don't know if it's technically off the public market now. Is it already? That's probably done now. It's private.
Yeah. So we talked about the negative. Let's talk about some of the positives here, because again, we got to be honest here. There are some things to be optimistic about, like Ian mentioned here. There still is a prospect. There is still a possibility that a lot of people could be brought back. And let's talk about some of the positives here. Viva Frei has been brought back. He didn't have to admit he was wrong to get his account back. He got his account back, which is great.
A Republican running in Arizona, I think, got his account back without having to apologize.
He's responding to individuals that were hurt by the platform before wrongly and saying, don't worry, I'll fix this. Just give me some time. If you're optimistic, if you want to believe in him and have faith in him, sure, believe in him. There's also the interaction he had with AOC today, which was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, we got it. Want to pull it up?
And the White House fact-checked, which is absolute gold. And
No, I'm not giving him credit for the White House fact check.
why is that?
Because that already was happening.
Before him?
The community response.
I knew it was happening to Donald Trump.
No, but it was happening across the board well before Elon Musk took over. It's just we're in election season and they've made some mistakes.
I haven't noticed it before until now.
This AOC thing is funny. She said, LMAO at a billionaire earnestly trying to sell people on the idea that free speech is actually $8 an $8 a month subscription plan. You see, Elon responded, your feedback is appreciated. Now pay $8. Elon, she's lying. When did anyone say that free speech was $8? No, free speech is free. You can get a free account on Twitter. If you want premium services, that costs money.
Yep.
But she's lying.
Yep.
I don't get it. Does Elon not get that? That these people are liars?
Free speech isn't free. Free speech requires taxes to pay for a military to guard your borders so that you can say things without getting shot in
Ian,
the back.
stop being
Come on.
the
That's completely
totalitarian.
wrong.
Stop
You
it.
are-
No.
we are
defending our ability to have free speech.
No,
with
you
money.
have
No.
free speech exists, and it is an inherent right given by God.
Because we have guns to defend it.
No, that's not true.
Well, duh. If we didn't have guns to defend it, we'd get conquered by the CCP and would no longer have free speech.
Excuse me,
You kidding
Ian.
me? Everyone's got guns in their house.
If you're standing in China, can you yell out "F the CCP"?
I don't think so.
Well, you can't. Your mouth just doesn't move. You're like,
You
like,
can, but I
it's-
don't know if you'll get the last
it's
word out.
like in Doctor Strange when the black whatever the fork guy, whatever his name is. Who's that guy? You know what I'm talking about? He's got the fork or whatever. And then they're like, he could kill you with one whisper. And then she's like, what mouth? And he's like,
Yeah.
That's what happens when you go to China. Bro, you can speak. It happens. What you're saying is that some people may try and stop you.
Well, I'm saying
you don't need a government for that. If you're in the middle of the woods, you can say whatever you
No, I'm
want.
talking about legal free
exists.
speech, like American legal free speech, First Amendment stuff is protected by guns.
No.
And that's funded by money.
Okay, but
from taxes.
that's not what Elon Musk is arguing here. Elon Musk is saying specifically, hey, AOC, you want to use the platform? It's free. You don't have to pay $8 for a verified badge. He also went on a tweet storm. He tweeted some of her merchandise. That's $58 for a sweater. He then also posted a bunch of memes, one of them being an NPC laughing and being really happy, smiling about an $8 Starbucks latte, and then crying about $8 per month to have a verified badge on Twitter. So props to him being in the meme game and going against these people and then willing to stand up for what he believes in. He's also talking about setting up a video paywall, which some news organizations are talking about could rival adult websites. Now, if that happens, that again is questionable and
Why
a net
adult
negative for
websites?
societies. This is what a lot of the mainstream media publications said, that if he offers a paywall for video, he's going to be in direct competition with the adult websites who do something very similar. That would be, again, a net negative, since there is a lot of adult content already on Twitter. I think it's 13 or 18% of Twitter is adult content. And that is a net negative and is somehow allowed, which is still weird, which they might arbitrarily use against him in the future, because that's another weak point of Twitter, that somehow is able to do this and other platforms aren't on the major app stores.
That's a good point. Mine was actually removed from the Google App Store because porn was showing up on the site unmoderated. And we were like, hey, Twitter has porn.
What isn't it? One nipple?
It was something inane,
Yeah,
like
like a single
innocuous. It
nipple.
wasn't a lot, and we were attempting to moderate it, but because there was so much and there were human moderators and like there were 7 of us or something, we couldn't keep up. And
It's a rigged game, man.
a few things get
So
reported.
someone did super chat. I believe this is. Let me see who had the super chat. We normally save him, but someone made a good point. Ben, is that what it says? According to Jeremy, the quartering, Elon has to play ball because there's the Google Play Store and server factors to keep in mind. Also, Yoel Roth is only there still because he knows where the bodies are. It's a fair point. So we'll see. But Elon doesn't need to be tweeting this stuff out to virtue signal. What's the like? What is Twitter going to get banned from the Play Store? Why would that happen? Like
Well,
just
you never know.
abruptly? I mean, maybe
Yeah.
because of collusion.
I mean, it's happened a few times. There's an app called iFunny. It was free speech. Anyone could say anything. It was actually quite well moderated to some degree. Nothing dodgy on there. But it got taken off 20 or something times when something blows up and leaks outside this app. So I think at some point they may double down, just take it out of the App Store or the Play Store.
Parler got banned because Donald Trump was threatening to be on that platform. So we saw collusion. If you think there's collusion with big tech social media, there's obviously collusion with all the big app stores. Obviously, they're also going to be targeting people politically, just like they do on big tech social media. And this is just one avenue. And there could be a possibility here that we have to entertain of the DHS coming down and be like, we'll take you off the App Store. We'll make sure you guys get hit for all the adult website stuff you have on your thing. We'll make sure you guys get punished. Unless, of course, you allow George W. Bush and its foundation, along with the ADL, to decide how we're going to be playing by the rules here. So that could be happening right now, and that, again, is another possibility that is worth considering.
On the other side, though, Truth Social is allowed on the App Store, right? And everyone hates Trump on the left, right? They kicked him off Twitter, but he's on the App Store, so there is hope for Twitter in the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that Google, the transhumanists and the technologists, the technocrats don't really they don't play the left-right paradigm. They're looking for like the most value and efficiency out of the system.
Yeah.
Fortunately, but the DHS, like you said, has influence with them. But that's why, you free the software code. We'll build a decentralized app store. We can make F-Droid go mainstream. It's a little Wild West. Like you can download an app that has a virus in it. You gotta be careful on F-Droid, but it's better than relying on Google and Apple for our sole iStore monopoly. Like we gotta break up the app store monopoly.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some domestic politics, but I want to talk about this first so we can talk about some international stuff from the Daily Mail. The world's 5 nuclear superpowers are on the brink of a direct armed conflict, which will have catastrophic consequences. The Kremlin said on Wednesday that avoiding nuclear clash was its first priority. Western capitals have said Moscow is behind a ramping up of nuclear rhetoric. Russia said that it stood by a joint declaration for avoiding a nuclear war. I respect it. Vladimir Putin has appeared on several occasions to threaten a nuclear strike. There's even some reporting that Putin tried to launch a nuke but was sabotaged. By who? We don't know. Aliens? Perhaps. Perhaps not. But that's what at least one report said. So I'm wondering, Lord Miles, You're actually on the ground in Ukraine.
Oh, yes.
You've witnessed a lot of this stuff. I'm curious if you think we're facing an escalation that could bring us to a nuclear conflict, or will it just remain regional? What do you think?
Well, I think it'll be good business for me, but if I have to think about what would happen, I think it would be a very small tactical nuke that might go off. But at the same time, if you establish that a nuclear war can be done tactically, it will open up the floodgates, Pandora's box, and nukes will start flying. I feel like if the US sent a nuke in retaliation, it'll probably hit Twitter HQ before it hits Russia. But I do think it would happen. Putin is desperate right now. He wants this land. He's fantasized about it since the Soviet Union fell apart. And he's desperate because he realizes the whole country would turn against him. And with that much pressure on him right now, people don't think straight.
What if there's a false flag? What if there's a strike on Russian soil? He could probably then rally popular support in Russia to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I wouldn't have put it past him because the US government would do this too. He might set off, it might do a false flag himself, cause a nuclear bomb to go off in some remote area of Siberia or whatever. Say it was some terrorists going on that have been sent from Ukraine, and then just everyone rallies behind him, and some other countries send extra troops. And
I don't think Siberia. I think Moscow.
You think?
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Russians are known for just throwing away their men, like they're just toy soldiers.
Exactly. They're the Zap Brannigan of international conflict.
and
Soviets,
also the opposite.
not the Russians. It was the Soviets that did that.
Pretty much the same thing. I mean,
no, Russia's its own beast, man.
Sure,
Russia, the
sure.
Russian people are ancient.
Well, and also there's a possibility that the opposite of this could happen. There could be a false flag by Ukraine or by Western powers inside of Ukraine, and they could blame Russia for it, and then also use that. Again, there's a lot of potentials for false flags. It's not just the United States or Russia or Ukraine that has the potential of launching them. It's also independent third parties, corporations, the military-industrial complex that has a lot to gain and win here. But this is an absolutely crazy, disastrous situation. The West is not trying to give any kind of easy way out for Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin has put himself in an extremely difficult situation. There's a lot of people being negatively affected by this inside of Ukraine right now. Their energy infrastructure has been targeted. They're facing a dark winter to the point where they're telling their refugees not to come back to the country because they won't know if they're going to have enough energy to heat the country. So this is a major problem. This is a humanitarian crisis. This is something that we need to deal with, that we need to de-escalate and come to a table where we could negotiate a peace deal. But the exact opposite of that is happening, and they're calling for more escalations, more war, more military contracts, which I think is absolutely stupid.
I want to... Oh, what were you going to say, Miles?
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. We've got to realize why the war actually begun, and it's because Russia fears that NATO is moving closer and the corridor, the actual length of Europe is opening up for them so they can't defend their borders easier because it's so wide. If they move further down, it's narrower and they can easily defend that area, especially with the geographical boundaries. So if they did drop tactical nukes in a straight line down, they could claim part of Ukraine, but it also means NATO can't move in even further. And no army is going to send their people through a nuclear wasteland, right? They just straight up die from nuclear radiation poisoning and so on. So it could be the only way he secures the borders and the security of Russia in general against NATO.
Man.
I mean,
A radioactive wall.
yeah, basically. I mean, that's what I think it was Douglas Arthur thought about with China to protect against North Korean aggression, right? Because China was supplying North Korea during the Korean War. He proposed West drop a line of nukes, and they said, no, that's crazy. But to be fair, it could work.
It could
That's
work
scary that it could work.
to stop
Yeah.
humans from walking, maybe. But I don't know. It would just be insanity. Yeah. And you got the Russians working with the French on building a fusion reactor right now.
That's so weird.
They said that they want to avoid at all costs the nuclear war. I think the actual... What's the quote? Russia is strictly and consistently guided by the tenet that a nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought. This is the Russian Foreign Ministry, according to NBC News.
I mean, it could be one. It just means that the aftermath is you live in a bunker for a little while.
Right, and that's not a winning.
And then afterwards, a few hundred people try to rebuild society.
It's like how even the poor in modern society are richer than the richest kings from 500 years ago. We're all winning.
Yeah, it's important to note here that a lot of people escalating this conflict have nuclear bunkers. And they won't have to deal with the larger consequences of the larger problems of them escalating this conflict. Sorry, Ian, I cut you off.
I wanted to clarify this statement about the Soviet Union and Russia and how they're different. It's kind of like if the Nazis had won World War II and created a new country a new empire called the Third Reich, and Germany was part of the Third Reich. And then, so the Soviet Union was like the Third Reich. It was this weird totalitarian regime that took over Russia and all these foreign other countries. So now we finally got rid of like the Soviet Nazi party, and now we're back to like what Germany would be if we had dispelled the Third Reich later. It would still have remnants of it, but Germany is not the Third Reich.
Right. But Ian, the Soviet Union was largely Russia.
With satellite states.
Yeah,
surrounding
they
it.
used Russia. The Bolsheviks used Russia. They definitely took it, but it wasn't like
are Germans still German after World War II?
And after, when the fall of the Soviet Union happened, Russia was the centerpiece, and that is literally the remnant core of the Soviet Union.
Yeah, it is.
Like
So
Vladimir Putin was KGB.
Yeah.
right. It'd be like if we finally got rid of the Third Reich 20 years ago, they'd be like, hey, he used to be a Nazi. Well, duh, that was the government of the Third Reich.
When we mention the tactics of the Nazis, we'd be like, that was Germany, the country that still exists.
Yeah.
It was the Nazis that had usurped the German throne.
Miles, if I could just ask you really
Yeah,
quickly,
yeah.
from your experiences on the ground there, were people worried about this escalating? Were people worried about nuclear explosions and tactical nukes when you were there? What was the gist of what people were seeing there and what they were thinking was going to happen there?
So I was speaking mainly to the women and children at first, and a lot of them don't have a hope in the war because they know their governments, like Ukraine, is very corrupt in general, and I'm pro-Ukraine, but they have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
So they don't think that Ukraine's going to be acting in their best interest in general, and they talked about the idea of a nuclear weapon going off because they know if a nuclear weapon goes off, that the Ukrainian government will get tons of funding and support and everything like they're doing now. So they'll probably let it happen or even escalate it to that point on purpose. That's what some of their theories. And some of the soldiers I was speaking to on the front lines of Kharkiv are saying, yeah, we're seeing this right now. We're actually winning. We can see them being squeezed, basically. And when they get squeezed, they're going to panic and something will be set off. But they also told me how the nuclear weapon system works in Russia. So in the US, Joe Biden, he has a Joe Biden moment, maybe presses a button, right?
It's a nuclear. He has a nuclear football.
Exactly, but in Russia, how it works is the president calls up nuclear submarine, goes, ring, ring, hello, nuke please, and then all those people have to agree on it. So there's a two-step verification
Three-step
system.
verification system,
Yes.
actually.
Oh, yes.
I think it's like someone in the General Assembly, and then they have to. So it's a number of people that do have to agree that they're going to be launching the nuke, and this could be why allegedly we're hearing reports. Again, I'm very skeptical whenever we hear, Putin was sabotaged here and here, because again, you can't trust a lot of these reports. There's no evidence behind them. Yeah. But it's 3 phone calls that need to be made, and 3 different groups of people that have to decide, yes, we're launching this nuke.
Oh, exactly.
Unlike the United States, where Biden just brings in the nuclear football launch.
Exactly, yeah. And you got to think of the psychology of these people. So these ordinary people working for the military in a nuclear submarine, not earning so much. You got to think, okay, well, they were in the Soviet Union, obviously, because they've climbed so high since then. And those were the glory days where things were a lot better than they are now, right? And they had that national pride. They thought they were top of the world. They were a superpower at that point. And now they're probably demoralized and they're thinking, well, is it really worth launching a nuke? Do I really believe in my leader? Is our country still great right now? It's like America's problem as well. So I honestly think it might just stop. They might order a nuke and then they say, hell no, I don't want my women back home, my mother, my wife, my sister to get nuked by the opposite country because nuclear exchange.
I think one thing we didn't consider about nuclear war is that by the time we would ever reach this level of crisis, our cultures would have decayed to the point where no one cares enough about each other for this to matter. So, even in Russia, they're experiencing cultural decay. Across Europe, it's cultural decay. In the United States, it's cultural decay. I'd imagine, in the 50s, people were much more like, America, woo, like as a nation, much more unified. Not anymore. I mean, Americans are at each other's throats. And it's not even just the left and the right. There's sub-factions of leftists fighting Democrats and libertarians arguing with conservatives. And to varying degrees, it's serious. I can't imagine that someone's going to be like, I have to do this to save my people. They're going to be like, what people? I want to be rich.
Yeah, a lot of people have been dehumanized, and I think that's another aspect that we should understand here when it comes to this kind of proxy war that has people killing each other in the fields. There's a great movie that just came out on Netflix. What was it called? Everyone's talking about it right now.
The World War I movie?
World War I movie. Absolutely great movie, and it shows you the shocking horror of realities and how these politicians and these bureaucrats in their high towers that are literally deciding, you know what? go kill each other, just go murder each other. And that is just, and the movie critiqued that very heavily. All Quiet on the Eastern Front, I think is the
Western Front.
All Quiet on the Western Front. Definitely worth a watch to understand here, because the same footage that I saw in that movie, it's the same footage that I'm seeing when I'm trying to do my research on what's happening in Ukraine and watching the footage from the Russians and the Ukrainians. It's almost identical when it comes to
Because of
the
how much-
bombing,
Yeah.
the trench warfare, the hand-to-hand combat that you sometimes see, the blood, the explosions. It's something that is absolutely uncomfortable, unnatural for humanity to deal with. This is why a lot of people have PTSD. This is why the human body isn't destined, isn't okay with killing another human being. But for some reason, when someone puts on a special costume and a uniform and tells someone else to do it, they do it. That is a stupid, asinine idea that is dehumanizing, that is absolutely stupid and backwards and needs to be challenged more than ever right now.
Well, but I mean, there's too many people. Got to blow them up, right?
That's what Bill Gates would said.
And Barack Obama, I guess.
Yeah, during COVID, right?
You
Brock-
mentioned earlier that we're in a state of cultural decay. I'm starting to think it's not that, but more that we're in a state of cultural shock. Like the globe we're basically, all these cultures have come face to face with each other now. We have communism in the United States. We've got American republicanism in Iran. We have people doing like the Arab Spring. People are like, hell no, I want to be a republic. And so we've got like, it's this like, and it is demoralizing shock in a lot of ways. But it's just like the paddles have just shocked it's a new organism, cultural organism. It can be a little harsh, but it's like thinking that way has it. So I'm not so upset about the communism in American schools and in American politics. Like it's a natural part of the cultures coming face to face. This is just part of it, and it's up to us to stay positive, to have morale high, so that our culture comes out on top.
Let's get to the good news, I guess. We're all concerned about nuclear war. Lord Miles, you mentioned that Joe Biden has his finger on the button for
yes.
nuclear bombs. Well, we got this op-ed from the Washington Post. For the good of the country, Biden and Harris should bow out of the 2024 election. From George Will. This story went viral today. This guy voted for Joe Biden. He hates Trump, votes for Joe Biden, and now he's like, what did he say? That Joe Biden has displayed unwittingness, or what does he call it? I don't care to read the whole thing. The fact is, everyone's basically saying, oh, here we go. This is great. He says, meeting recently with some progressive activists, Biden said his $426 billion student loan forgiveness was accomplished by a law that he had just signed. I got it passed by a vote or two. No, he did not. I love this because it's two things. The first thing is it's a guy who voted for Biden being like, no more Biden. And the second thing is, actually, it's calling for Biden to bow out, and it's a guy regretting having voted for him in the first place. So you love to see it. This is what you get when you vote for a man who is insane, unwell, just out of it. And now he's going on TV and just lying and making things up. And it's absolutely fascinating that people still buy it. It's absolutely fascinating that people will still vote for someone like John Fetterman. Joe Biden claimed his son died in Iraq twice now. He claimed he got a bill passed he didn't get passed, and people believe it. They call Trump a fascist. But you want to talk about fascism? That's the fascism right there. That's the scary thing. They sneak it in with some bumbling old dotard who makes random things up. People buy it. They march in lockstep behind it. But I'm glad to see that these never Trumpers are regretting their actions and now calling for a substantial change. I guess the question is, if not Biden in 2024, not Harris, who could it possibly be?
I think it's honestly going to be someone who is just like Biden at the end of the day. They're going to make new promises, say they're going to be something different. It's going to be the same thing repeating.
Stacey Abrams?
No.
That's what
Michelle
Vanessa does.
Obama and Oprah. Both of them running on the same ticket.
power couple.
Why
So great.
wouldn't it happen? Tell me. Make an argument. I think that's who else is there? Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, but hold on.
The serial killer looking dude, and then that crazy woman, Whichmore.
Which more?
I said that by accident. Now I just kind of realized
That's
what I
a
was
good
saying.
one. We got to write that down. Gretchen
Seriously,
Whitmore.
the butcher of the nursing home people. Seriously, who else is there?
Pete Buttigieg.
No, he's
and Beto
Stop saying
O'Rourke.
Buttigieg.
Those are the only other two.
Buttigieg has
Gavin
connections to
Newsom.
intelligence, so he's going to be propped up in there.
He's
but,
in the
but
administration now. He's the
Meghan
transportation-
McCain.
No, she doesn't have enough star power at the moment.
Who else?
Well-
you got nobody else? Hillary? You're gonna dust Hillary off?
I don't think she wants
bring her
to.
forward.
Dust her off.
Like seriously.
I've been thinking about Hillary a lot lately. I think she's the
Why?
No
she's the
way.
kind
Why,
of person
Ian? Stop
because
it.
she's one of those. You know, they say facts over feelings. A lot of people feelings. Hillary's like the ultimate feelings over facts person. I feel like I just realized this, that if she likes you, she wants to work with you. If she gets a gut feeling, like yeah,
Did you-
like she could be swayed to do.
Did you
new
see what you
things.
just said?
Huh.
That people are going to vote Republican because they're too stupid to know what's good for them.
She senses the emotions.
Now, I'm paraphrasing. What she really said is that low information Americans don't realize what a red wave actually means for them. But, you know, she's basically saying y'all are too stupid to know what's good for you.
So
Bloomberg said the same thing.
Not Hillary, not Bloomberg. I don't know. Who do you guys see even
AOC?
Democratic candidate? AOC is
She's
possible.
too young.
Actually, AOC,
She'll be
yeah.
old enough, but she is
Michelle
young.
Obama, Oprah. I'm telling you.
Obama, Oprah.
Did Oprah want to?
2024.
Yeah.
Kanye?
You're
He'd
telling
be
me
a
they would
Republican.
lose.
I don't think they
No.
would lose. I don't.
Yeah, they would
Actually,
win.
no. I don't know. I would have said that maybe 4 years ago, but times they are a changing, man. And I'll tell you why. You take a look at some of the cultural productions, and they have no impact. The Daily Show getting only a few 100,000 views. Like, people believe in different things. Maybe 7-8 years ago, you'd be like, Oprah's so popular, people would vote for her. Today, people are less concerned about pop culture. Politics has become pop culture, so they're not going to vote for someone like Oprah. I mean, she'd get votes. Don't get me wrong. She'd get a lot. Michelle Obama, yes. Former first lady, absolutely. Maybe it's going to be Obama Clinton or Clinton Obama.
Which Clinton?
Chelsea.
Chelsea?
No,
Getting into
Hillary.
politics, Chelsea.
It's going to be
Well,
Hillary.
it'd be like a tech billionaire could do it.
Oh,
Musk.
No, he's not
Musk.
American.
Yeah.
He's not. He can never run for president.
He's
Thank God.
African American.
Jeff's not going to do it. I don't know.
I mean, all of a sudden, the Washington Post starts writing, we need a billionaire president to fix things. Amazon is the greatest company ever. Jeff Bezos soars in the polls, and then you understand why he bought it.
The Rock?
Comically evil.
Does he want to run?
Yeah. I mean, he's playing a little bit into politics. He supported Gavin Newsom. He did a whole political advertisement for him.
Yeah.
So, and he'll say anything for a buck. I mean, look at the kind of movies he's in.
I think it's
Like,
Pete Buttigieg.
Well, he's not as bad as that other dude who did that Chinese ad.
Yeah, what's his name?
John Cena.
John
J-
Cena.
John
yeah.
Cena.
When I say it's Pete Buttigieg and you guys like, no, stop. Is it because you
Sheena?
really are afraid that he might win?
No, come on, because it's like saying Mickey Mouse.
You don't think Buttigieg has a chance at
No.
all? Oh, I thought
He doesn't
would.
have a personality. He doesn't have anything except.
He remember when he
Yeah.
disappeared for like a month or something and no one knew
No
he was
one knew.
gone?
No one
and there
noticed.
was like a major crisis with trucking and fuel, and they were like, don't we have a guy for this? And he was just gone. Like nobody knew, nobody cared. So I definitely don't see that guy.
But also, would you want to be a politician in a falling empire? Everyone's going to blame you for all the horrible things that all the other politicians have kind of built up.
What if this
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
the fall of the Roman Empire? This is the fall of the Roman Republic. What if Trump crosses the Rubicon and we become a country that the Republicans just keep winning because the Democrats are psychotic, and you end up with a lopsided country that's like 55% Republican, or at the very least independence voting Republican because we've been traumatized by psychotic Democrats sterilizing kids and things like that, shutting down gas. And then you end up with a long period of just consistent Republican majorities.
Maybe, but the difference is that it's like a global immersion now, whereas the Romans were still pretty insulated when the Republic fell. Now we've got like every country on earth is attempting to create a new government in the United States. And it's kind of up to us to hold the wheel while the storm rages outside.
Who do you think, Miles? Who would have your vote?
I'm actually
If you're-
I'm hoping no one, because then the Democratic Party could collapse, and then the Republican system could just take over the entire thing in happy days for a while.
I mean, look, the Republicans are bad for a lot of reasons, but we're seeing the split where you have establishment Republicans and you have MAGA Republicans. If the Republicans win in a sweeping victory, then they win in 2024 and the Democrats become diminished, you may actually see the dominant party become Republicans. And this is a very, very wild hypothetical. If the Democrats can't get a consistent majority of Republicans, eventually they'll start jumping ship to try and influence the Republican Party, which will then split and take over the two-party system. I'm not convinced something like that will happen, but it's a possibility. If one political party, I'll put it this way, the MAGA Republicans are very different from the establishment. But people are willing to vote for any Republican at this point because the Democrats are insane. They're campaigning on abortion while crime is skyrocketing in major cities. In New York, there was like 30 people have been pushed in front of trains. Like that's freaking people out. So Republicans are like, okay, we'll stop crime. And now you get widely different views. You get post-liberals, people like me, voting Republican, even though I disagree with a lot of policies. The Democrats are just too nuts. If that keeps up for a little while, eventually then you're going to see the MAGA Republicans and the neocon types and the establishment types split, and that will become the actual two parties right there. Crazy, right?
Or a civil war.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, civil war if the far left loses it and refuses to accept the results of the election. Look, Joe Biden spoke today about the danger of election denials or whatever, deniers. And I think it's funny because the message is deeply needed right now, because when the Republicans win next week, and it's tremendous and insane, they're going to need to come out and be like, remember what Biden said, don't deny the elections, but you know they're going to do it.
Gosh, I think that people should be allowed and maybe not encouraged to deny elections, but you should certainly be allowed to posit that there are issues in your elections, especially with evidence coming out of computer programs hacking and flipping vote tallies.
But you can only do that if you come from a certain political party. If you're from a different political party, you're going to be censored, you're going to be banned, you're going to be punished, you're going to be ostracized by mainline society and called dangerous by Homeland Security. But if you're Stacey Abrams, you could do it all the time.
Did you see the
Doesn't
people
matter.
in Brazil? There's like giant crowds of tens
massive
of thousands of
protests.
people demanding the military come out and say this election was
There's
fraud.
a huge protest today too.
It's
massive.
crazy. They went to like the military HQ. That's scary, man. It's
Yeah.
scary when your country tribalizes to that degree. It you know what, man? I think you look at someone like Trump or Bolsonaro. I think they know what happens if you really move forward with a move like that. It's not going to be fun. People are not going to live good lives. Like you will have massive suffering. It could start a civil war. And anybody who's actually seen conflicts knows exactly why you do not want something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about the crowds in Brazil saying that we think that Bolsonaro was illegally voted out. We think the election was fraudulent, and we want the military to do. What if they're wrong? Like, what have they done? What they have hundreds of
It doesn't
thousands of
matter.
people
They don't care if
getting
they're
the
wrong.
military involved. Like,
It's
listen,
about
listen,
power.
right? What?
They don't care. They don't care.
But I think
if
for a
they're
lot
wrong.
of people, it's about the truth. But it's being used for the
no,
power.
no. Look. Right now, I will say you've got a lot of people in the United States agreeing with the protesters. I've not seen anything out of Brazil, so I'm not going to say I know for sure what's going on. But I'll tell you, it's feelings over fact. The facts don't matter. The feelings do. And these people are thinking one thing. If Bolsonaro is not the president, Brazil suffers. So it doesn't matter what happened. It matters that they do whatever they can to make sure he stays president.
Yeah, they blocked the highways and asked the military to take over the government. That's serious.
Dude, come on.
Did you ever see any kind of civil conflict? I mean, the closest thing that I saw when it comes to something like a civil war was what I saw in Mogadishu, Somalia. Different tribes and different factions of people fighting each other. Roadside bombs and just shelling and fighting. But have you seen anything like that?
Oh yeah, even in Brazil, I've seen leaked videos showing that the cartel are celebrating that the guy got elected because he's going to protect him. And you think with how corrupt certain parts of Brazil are, something was messed with, I honestly think, at the end of the day. But I've seen stuff in South Sudan as well, so it doesn't matter who you belong to in the country, it just belongs about the tribe. So it doesn't matter if you're South Sudanese. South Sudan doesn't really exist. It's just about the tribal people, and the borders don't make any difference.
What happened in Sudan?
Yeah, so
Well, real quick, like Brazil is. Let's just say there's a lot of things about Brazil. I was down there and I saw the pacification or the aftermath of the pacification. The government went in. These were brutal videos. They just basically took over favelas. The government was so broken that for a long time, gangs in favelas were de facto governments. Now they're trying to gain control over all these territories. I don't think you're going to see confidence in any of these systems. But I want to stress, we're not Brazilian. I don't know what's going on in Brazil other than we're watching news reports about it and people are demanding the military takeover. So
Yeah, I
what
want
ends up
I want
happening-
evidence. If any, I'm not going to make claims without evidence. That's for sure.
But it's not even that. I mean, we're not Brazilian. I don't even know what, like, if someone came to you right now and said, like, Miguel, Perez came out and showed this document, I'd be like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't even know who that is.
the issue is, though, if something really bad happens in Brazil, there'll be another immigration issue where they will go up the Darien Gap all the way and cross the border. Like what happened with Venezuela too, when the country fell.
Brazil's massive.
Yeah, I think they can make it happen.
They got dollar coconuts in Rio.
I don't want to be too bad, yeah. But at the same time, these people see American thing, better life. There's no election corruption over here.
I'm gonna tell you this. I take anybody who goes to the military and requests they take over. I'm not trusting, to be completely honest. Like, that's the last thing anyone would want. If you think you legitimately won, you then go to the military and ask them to take over your country. It doesn't sound
Yeah,
That does
That's
not
what some
sound
of the
legitimate.
protesters are
No,
calling
for sure.
for.
And yeah,
I don't think Bolsonaro is doing that. I think he officially conceded today.
he didn't concede.
Okay.
Did he?
I think so. I think I saw something right before this broadcast with him announcing that he's officially letting off power.
I know that he was basically he was beginning the transition, but I heard that he didn't concede. What do you see?
I read a post
Yesterday-
on Reddit saying specifically
That he did concede?
Yeah, but again, it's Reddit. Could be wrong. We don't know what's going
As of
on here.
yesterday, he had not conceded.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right.
But the transition was beginning, like he was letting go with power and following the Constitution. That's what was reported. I certainly hope you don't see a military takeover, man. That's not fun stuff.
No.
No.
But anyway, Sudan.
Yeah, South Sudan's the world's newest country, and definitely shows at the end of the day. Bribery is rife. You go around anywhere, you have to pay money, especially if you're a foreigner like myself. You stand out like a sore thumb. The UN there is keeping the entire country on lifeline, so they're just handing out free food and everything, but not actually funding any agriculture and bringing some farming techniques to teach them how to be self-sufficient. It's just a money thing for money laundering. The rich people get richer because the money given by the UN, our governments as well, is going to their pocket instead of the average person living in a mud hut who doesn't have enough food to eat today. It sucks, and I think that could happen in Brazil at the end of the day. You can get more tribal. People fight amongst themselves, like you said, Tim. You've got people that are belonging to certain areas, not actually the government and country as a whole, and they'll associate with their tribal groups and then just fight amongst themselves. And I think Brazil could fall into that. And it could even get to a point where certain parts of Brazil separate because the geography of the country is so insane that it would make sense at the end of the day.
And Bolsonaro, I'm just looking at it right now. He is urging his supporters to stop the roadblocks, and he has authorized the transition. Didn't concede yet. So the Reddit post was wrong.
Let's talk about Newsweek. Joe Biden. White House brags about Social Security check increase caused by inflation. This is one of the most epic mistakes ever made by a political organization, a political administration. They said, where's the tweet? Seniors are getting the biggest increase in their Social Security checks in 10 years through President Biden's leadership. What happened was Twitter had a community fact check, which said actually it was a 1972 law passed by Nixon. And the reason the increase is happening is because inflation is insanely high. So the White House deleted the tweet. They accidentally celebrated that inflation was caused by Joe Biden. You get that? They said through Biden's leadership, they're seeing this increase. Talk about a major cell phone.
Yeah, that. And I don't like, okay, if my dollar deflates and now it's worth 50 cents and I give you $2.
Inflates?
Yeah, okay, you could say that. The value of the dollar goes down, the money is inflated, so the value deflates. We'll call it that. So if I give you two of those dollars that are each worth half, I can't say that I increased the amount of money I'm giving you.
Yeah, you can. That's what they do.
It's a lie.
I know this is what America does. The United States will borrow. Here's a simple version. They borrow $100 from Japan, and that $100 is worth, say, 100 apples. Like, what's the real value? 100 apples. Then they print another $100, cutting the value of the dollar in half. Now that same $100 Japan has can only buy 50 apples. So when they say I got to pay you back, they pay them back half. It's amazing how this stuff works.
Yeah. The value of the dollar has been going down dramatically, and the crazy thing is, it's not as bad as it is other places in the world. Like in Europe and the developing world, holy cow, are they dealing with larger inflation numbers? Here, we're still seeing artificial ways that it's being kind of tamed. But there's a reason why I have this banker T-shirt. There's a reason their practices that they're doing is absolutely immoral and evil, and at the end of the day, just screws people over. Because if you have money, say you're trying to save up for a rainy day, you put it underneath your couch or your mattress, whatever it may be, that value of that money is being slowly liquidated away by government's unknown tax, which is inflation. And we still haven't seen the larger ramifications from it. This is just the beginning of the larger financial ramifications that we're seeing, not just from COVID, but also from those $2,000 checks that everyone got. It's crazy that we had
free money.
Free money,
right?
Yeah, it's free. It just comes out of nowhere. It's not free.
AOC, what did she advocate for? Deficit spending?
Yeah. Oh my
Don't you know
God.
modern monetary policy? Just print the money, spend it, and devalue the savings of everyone else.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your wages become worthless.
And modern currency is based on trust. That's the thing too. And with the trust in the government going down dramatically, and every other government as is, with the recession going on too, and China becoming more powerful, I seriously think the US dollar just can't keep doing this, taking every bashing, because it won't come out on top. And at the end of the day, the world global currency will switch onto something else. That's why China's devaluing their currency. They're probably playing the long game, and one day they're going to bounce up and everyone will switch. I mean, credit's due where's due. Russia put their currency back partially on the gold standard, right? Do you see that price shoot up? But nowadays, the currency actually has no real value, and it's just a paper straw that's about to break, basically.
Yeah, China also is dealing with a lot of very heavy financial ramifications, especially in their real estate market. And there's just so much irresponsible, centralized banking going on that it's absolutely reckless to have any faith in the system. If you have faith in the system, you might as well believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. You have more faith in those made-up ideas than you should in the banking system when you truly find out what's really happening behind the scenes.
And now we're on an infinite reserve system, meaning the banks can just print out debt endlessly. So expect inflation to get substantially worse and never stop getting worse.
Knowing that and having losing faith in that system, the faith-based system, the fiat system actually means faith. What would you advise? You're not a financial advisor.
I'm buying Dogecoin,
You're
but I
buying
wouldn't
crypto?
advise anyone. I didn't say that. I said Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
And no, I'm kidding. I did buy Dogecoin, but I would not give anyone advice on what to do because honestly, I have no idea.
I would
Yeah.
say be careful. I'm not a financial advisor, but what happened during the Great Depression was a lot of people were taking out loans on margin, meaning they didn't have the money to cover the loan if the value dropped of the commodity that they were.
And then the banks called the loans back in, and they had no money
then
because the value dropped.
And then they would have to sell off all their assets at a loss to pay back the margin call. So I avoid that right now. I don't know what the market could drop by times 1,000. It could become worth 1,000th of what it's worth.
I mean, the problem is being compounded because they've been prolonging a correction. They've been making sure that there's going to be no downturns in the economy, and they artificially do that. They have been inflating this bubble more and more and more. And because of that, when it does finally correct itself, there's going to be so much pain. There's going to be so much suffering. And these policies were just being deliberately done. And we're screaming, hey, this is stupid. This is stupid. This is stupid. This is going to lead to more pain, more havoc, more suffering for everyone. And no one's listening. And we're just continuing on with these same policies to now the point when the correction is going to happen. It's going to be massive and it's going to hurt everyone.
I saw a story about this guy. He found a tin full of cash in like his attic or whatever. It was like grandpa hid up there. And it was something like 50 grand or whatever. And they were like, wow, so amazing. We found 50 grand. I'm like, that sure does suck.
Yeah.
Because it was worth 500 grand when your grandpa put it up there. If only he bought gold and put it up there or stock in
an
something.
empty lot in a city that's now developed all around.
Yep.
Yeah. We're like,
Yep. The cash is worthless.
you think that like a president's going to come in and be like, all right, everybody, things are going to be very, very, very painful. Here's why. Now it gets painful. Everyone would blame that person, that president, like you were saying earlier, who wants to be a politician in this climate. Like, and then what would they be looked at as the worst president of all time because they were the ones that finally allowed the facetious system to fail?
For a lot of reasons, Biden already is, but sure.
But he hasn't done the financial break. He's trying to like push it, kick it onto the next guy by printing more money and like slowing. But it's just like building pressure so that when it does explode, it's going to be a bigger explosion.
Yeah, kicking the can down the road.
Maybe we could transition to a better system without having a giant explosion.
You're still going to have to pay the bills, right?
I don't know. I don't think you do. I don't
money.
think you have to pay the Federal Reserve back all that interest. I mean, it's a private company. What right does a private company have to demand of the U.S. government anything?
I'm going to be very cynical here and say they're doing this on purpose. Because think about it, all these people, especially the Biden administration, they think in 4-year terms, nothing else. They don't think about 10 years down the line, 20 years. And the Biden administration knows they've screwed up with Biden completely. They know they're going to lose the next election. I think they have some self-awareness. I honestly think they're just trying to print as much money as they can, line the pocket of their friends like they're doing right now, until the next election cycle in, say, 2 years. And then the bag is passed over to the new right-wing president, and then suddenly everything collapses, like you said.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's their plan. They want to basically sink the ship.
I have advice for people. Buy chickens. Chickens will live in pods. They will eat bugs. And they will give you eggs.
I was talking with our chicken tender, Kim, the other day, and apparently what you can do is take cows in one paddock. They live there, they poop there. Then when they've saturated the area, you move them to the next paddock, and then you move the chickens into where the cows were. They start sifting through the cow poop, refreshing the grass. They regenerate the land.
Well, no, the chickens destroy the grass.
But they'll actually
they tilled that whole. It's crazy. So we sectioned off this area for the chickens, and it was tall grass. The chickens went in and annihilated it
and get it ready for crops.
Yeah,
they'll get rid of all the weeds, which is the grass, and then you have like cropland after that.
But you mentioned something that I want to add on specifically here.
You didn't mention anything about chickens. Don't change the subject.
Just to change the topic here on your favorite topic here. I think what you mentioned is right, and it's not just a politician that's going to come and save us, because if we look at what's been happening here, it's not a Democratic problem. It's not a Republican problem. It's a duopoly problem, as of course we got to remember. Biden is spending money like crazy. He's deliberately destroying the energy sector. He's passing the Inflation Reduction Act, which doesn't reduce any inflation at all. And then, of course, we had the other guy beforehand that also spent a crap ton of money on the military-industrial complex and started handing out $2,000 checks to everyone like it just came out of nowhere. So whether it's Donald Trump, Biden, or even Obama, or even Bush or Clinton before him, they all made this problem worse. And what makes you think that another Republican coming into power is going to help this? It's not.
But you think that, I think, Miles, you were making the point that they're going to plan to get someone of the political party they don't agree with in power before they tank the economy. And who's they?
No, I think they're going to tank the economy as soon as, say, the next Trump gets elected, basically.
No, the Republicans will win now.
Yeah, they'll win the next election, basically. But they'll cause the global crisis. They'll time it, because they've got all the numbers, they've got all the calculations. I think they know what's going to happen. They'll time it to such a point that the big recession happens when the Republicans come back into power, and they'll go, oh, look what the Republicans have done. They've come into power. It was bad underneath our terms, but that was because of Trump. And then they'll say, look, they're in power now. It's worse than ever.
Not even Trump. I mean, I think Trump's going to be playing the game here. If it's a populist, if it's someone who's going to come in and be like, hey, I could finally represent the people of America, I think China, Wall Street, and all these other larger financial institutions and the Federal Reserve will come to them, be like, you will? Okay, we'll destroy this whole game right now. You better play along, or we're going to tank the economy deliberately and blame it all on you.
Yeah.
What do you want there, buddy? And I think the next president, even if they're going to be a populist, even if they're going to be representing the will of the people, that's the perfect opportunity for them to finally drop all the bags.
Oh, yeah. I used to be an investment banking analyst for a few months as well.
Yeah.
And I've got still friends of our field, and I met Martin Shkreli a few weeks ago, for a few meetups, lovely guy. But they are sounding alarm bells right now. They are basically saying, hey, I'm going to put some extra money aside and liquidate it and put some crypto, or I'm going to buy some extra food, or I might buy some farmland, and learn a little bit about farming, or raise my kids to learn how to sew clothes back together. And these are bankers earning, $200,000, $300,000 a year at the minimum. Things are only going to get worse.
You will own nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah.
Check out this.
So I'll give you one of my shirts. Next time you're around them, you could wear the shirt.
If my career doesn't pop off and I have to go back to that lifestyle, I'll wear that to the interview.
Good.
Let's check out this story here. California Governor Gavin Newsom admits the Democrats have been destroyed on messaging and crushed in the narrative as they race a Republican red wave in the midterms. And here's the RCP projection. There it is. The updated map shows Republicans taking 54 seats. Democrats 46. New Hampshire is going Republican. They're saying Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, New Hampshire, all going Republican. Now I got a question. If Zeldin in some polls is leading in New York, could New York possibly go Republican in the Senate as well? That'd be huge. Could you imagine what would happen if the Republicans actually took over 60 Senate seats? That'd be crazy.
It's a lot of pod people in New York City. I'm gonna start calling people that live in apartments in deep cities pod people. It's kind of a term of endearment, guys. I know you're listeing right now.
No, it's not.
I lived in a pod. I lived in a pod for many years, so it's not an insult.
They're looking around the apartment from wall to wall, like 5 feet to 5 feet, and going, yeah, I guess.
Cement.
So
walls.
as everyone in here has always been the staunchest of Republicans. How are you going to celebrate? How are you going to celebrate when your favorite political party wins supreme control over the government in a week?
You're just trying to trigger me right now.
Trigger you? No one. I don't like. You're not even American. Serge, are you a Republican?
No.
Then no one in this room has been a traditional Republican.
No.
And here we are being like, oh, it's better they win, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can acknowledge the Republican Party is mostly trash, but we don't want the Democrats to win.
When it comes to this, I don't even know who the Democrats are that are running. So to be honest, I vote for people. I don't vote for political parties. And if the people are better, but they have a D on their shirt, I will not vote for John. I would not advocate voting for John Fetterman because he just suffered a stroke. He's not in a healthy mind state right now. I'm not a huge fan of Dr. Oz politically, but he seemed cogent.
He's more cogent than Fetterman, at least. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Republicans today are just for Democrats 10 years
Yes.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no difference.
Literally.
We just
Yeah.
get a little time there before they fully implement all the agenda.
When who does the RCP, Real Clear Politics? How do they get their numbers?
It's an aggregation of polls. So you've got a bunch of different polls. That's what they're basing projections
seen the
on.
list.
Yeah, we also got to understand the polls are routinely wrong. They were telling you that Hillary
Very
Clinton
true.
had a 99 to 90% chance of winning the election.
But they're wrong by like 7 points against the Republicans. Meaning, if they're using the polls to show a projection of 54 Republican seats and they're off again by 7 to 13 points, that was like the swing. I mean, it could be way more. I don't. Look, let's say this. So when we look at New York Senate, Schumer versus Pinion, Schumer's up 18, 11, 17, 14, and 12. If the polls are off by 13 points, and that's massive, I really doubt it, then it could be a tie. But I don't think so. I do think, however, if people in New York go out and vote, they absolutely could get a Republican in the Senate in New York if every single person went out and vote. The polls are meaningless because Democrats aren't enthusiastic right now. They're upset about Democratic leadership. The gas prices are too dang high. And so right now, the Republicans who are enthusiastic have an opportunity. These polls show Schumer way up. Sure, but how many of those people who want to vote for him who say they're going to vote for him actually care to go out and vote? The Democrats aren't offering you anything, so they might not even show up.
I kind of worry about blue Texas at the end of the day. I mean, ever since the California started running away and then saying, oh, wait, California sucks, let's vote exactly the same in our new state. I think we could see some surprises, but...
Texas has been turning redder.
Yeah.
that's good.
You have to
That's
remember-
good news.
That's because a lot of conservatives have been moving away
No.
from
The
California
Latino
as well.
vote in the Rio Grande Valley flipped from Democrat to Republican.
Yes.
So, I mean, people are fed up with the border crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only people that are from, like...
Is that where Elon Musk also voted? He
Yes.
voted
Yeah.
also for a
Yeah.
Republican.
yeah.
He said he voted Republican?
Yeah, Elon Musk did.
Look at this. New Mexico is being projected as going Democrat, right? For the governorship. But if the polls really are busted, swinging up to 7 points, then it's actually leaning Republican. But I don't know. I'm not a pollster. I don't know to what degree the polls will or won't be busted this time around. New Mexico doesn't have any senators up. Colorado, the Bennett in Colorado against O'Day is up 2 points in the latest poll from Trafalgar, 8 from Emerson, 6 from Marist, and 9 from DFP. Overall spread is 6.2. If the polls are off by 7 points, Republican could win there.
Yeah, what-
Everyone needs to go out and vote.
What does it show in Arizona with Kerry Lake?
Oh, with Kerry Lake, I think it's hands down. I think the
It's
projection.
showing it's contested.
No, it's up Lake across the board.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's like one
that.
poll showing a tie and one with Hobbs up 1. But let's look at Senate. In the Senate, Arizona is leaning. See, this is interesting. All the polls show Mark Kelly leading in Arizona, yet they're projecting Masters will win. Why is that?
Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens, man.
Be right one way.
Because is it because they're like, hey, look, we think the polls are going to be wrong. New Hampshire, I think, even shows for the most part Hassan is up, but Bolduc is up 1 in the St. Anselm poll.
And didn't Tulsi campaign for Bolduc?
Yeah, she just endorsed him. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, she just endorsed Masters. Tulsi Gabbard.
Amazing that she left Congress and is more influential now. I like
Maybe
that.
that's why she did.
It might have
Yeah.
been, yeah. She
I
couldn't
don't-
have done anything in the party. Who knows?
She could have left the Democratic Party a while
She
before.
could
I
have.
guess.
Very true.
Yeah, Bernie too.
Yeah.
Duckworth. Blech. Man, Illinois. What is wrong with these places?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Arizona and Pennsylvania. I mean, that's pretty much where I'm going to be
These
keeping a
purple
close
states.
eye on Election Day because that's going to decide the future of this country.
Oh yeah, what's the Pennsylvania polls look like right now? Doug Mastriano.
I think it's
was
favoring Fetterman for
very
the most part.
Oh, these are the
Yeah, he's up 0.4.
How?
I don't even know.
Decision Desk said Oz's chance of winning is 54%. To like Fetterman's 45 or something.
After
like
that debate, maybe you should have to watch the debate to vote. I don't know, but how do you make sure?
This is
someone
why I
watched it?
think service guarantees citizenship, right?
Oh, you don't even need ID to vote. Trust me, they're not going to put any barriers to entry.
This right here, I feel like with Fetterman and Oz, it's like a test aliens are putting us through. And they're in the spaceship and it's like, beep, bark, are they voting for Fetterman? They are. Like they're testing us to
Next
see if
millennia.
we're worthy of joining the Galactic Federation, but we're voting for a guy who's actually got brain damage and can't speak or understand words. That just goes to show you that these people are not serious people. The voters are not serious people. They don't care. And if anything, if there was a conspiracy, I'd argue it was an attempt to make learned people wish for despotism, because you realize how many stupid people there are that will vote themselves to jump off a cliff.
That's why we built the federal government to begin with, or at least why we built the Senate.
That's why we aren't a democracy.
Yeah.
Republic, yeah.
We have better men, in quotes. I don't
For
know
now.
who framed
Better
that
men.
in the Senate to make sure that the mob doesn't vote in moronacy. I don't know how you would describe
Moronacy?
it. Something like
That's
that.
an Eonism,
I'm making up words.
for
Like,
An Eonism.
I heard it's
That's an
okay to
Elon.
do that.
It's totally fine. Yeah.
All right,
It's
so
totally okay.
we're gonna have a big show on election day. We're gonna have pizzas and wings, and we're just gonna sit here. I'm gonna eat like a bowl of wings.
Beef
Just-
liver. I'm going to bring the beef liver.
Yeah.
Change it up here a
Chew
little
that.
bit.
For last meals
But
before the food shortage.
I gotta say, look, if you think the Republicans won already, then they're gonna lose for real.
Yeah, because you're not going to go out and vote.
And that's what
You can't
that's
get
what they're
complacent.
hoping for. The reason we may be seeing these stories like Republicans are going to win is that Republicans are like, oh, okay, I don't got to go out. No. Now's the time you got to go out, because I'll tell you this: if they're saying you're going to win already, then make it a super majority. Make it like a crushing defeat. Like people talk about when you're defending yourself, how you got to make sure you stop the fight. You know, you have to make sure you use adequate force to prevent someone from being able to fight. When we're talking about politics, you want to win a decisive political victory to the point where the Democrats feel so demoralized they drop these garbage ideas. They have a reckoning where they say, hey, you know those things we were promoting that really hurt us in a way we've not seen in decades? Let's not advocate for those things anymore. That's what we need to see. Send a message.
Yeah, and also don't celebrate when your candidate wins. You got to hold their feet to the fire and make sure that they represent you properly. It's just a tendency in American politics for once they get into office to just fall into the oligarch's pocket. And it is up to you to run this country. We are running this country together, the people.
On election day, are we gonna start early, or is it just 8 to 10? 'Cause-
It's not 8 to 10. We're probably going to go late. There's not going to
Yeah.
be a members only. We're going to just chill here and have
Keep
pizza.
rolling.
Because like we
We're
might
going to have people
be
rotating in and out.
We might be waiting a long time to see what happens in Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
So-
it may go on a few days.
Yeah,
we may
yeah.
be trapped here live for a few weeks.
Telethon. Let's do a telethon.
Telethon. Yeah, no, I think we might go.
We
might go
could
live
raise
early.
money for Beep Borp. Our
Special
alien.
election night. Just let the live stream roll. We'll hang out. Maybe like as we're chilling for results, play some music. Maybe we'll bring up the commander decks, play some Magic the Gathering.
That'd be awesome.
While we're waiting.
Get some coffee. I like it. I like those days where people just roll in and out. Kind of like take seats, you get up and leave, come back.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bunch of people here, actually,
that's good.
and we're gonna have people chilling in the seats, and they're gonna come in and swap out, and it'll be fun. It'll be an extended show, but we'll see. I don't know if we can make Serge press the buttons for that long.
Well, luckily I've got some other people that are learning how to do this too.
There we go. It's actually a
Yeah.
great opportunity. So we'll be like, the buttons may be pressed incorrectly, but we don't.
Maybe
care.
I'll push the buttons for a few minutes.
Hey, hopefully.
knows?
You don't want to do it for days and days and days, Serge? Come on.
Non-stop. I
What
can
kind,
do-
what
I can
kind
do
of
this all
what kind of
day.
attitude is
Gotta
this?
build
do this all
an
day.
algorithm.
We got to wait until the votes in Pennsylvania get in.
Yeah, very
Here,
true.
take a look at this.
How long do you think it's going to take?
A couple days.
Who wants to read this one?
Ian, you got this.
Yeah, let me see. There's a glare on the screen, so I got this. Panic is starting to set in. I did too much for Democrats. It's just not.
It's not just Nevada. In
You got
multiple key states, Democrats are not hitting the early vote plus VBM numbers they need to counteract an election day red wave. John Rouse from Election Wizard. John Ralston says, for those wondering, I just confirmed that there is no backlog of mail waiting to be processed. This is not a good scenario at all for Dems, unless USPS not processing fast enough. No massive Clark mail is in 2020. As I have said, this is an apple. Other cycles are oranges. So basically, they're hoping there was a big stack of mail-in ballots that were going to get jammed up. That would be good news for Dems. It ain't there. So this might actually end that night very decisively.
You know, one of the things Americans have always been great at, in my opinion, is being real. Like, this country came from hard times. And when you see someone like Joe Biden just flubbing things, your spirit cannot deny it. It's too hard to pretend like that's okay for a long time. And that gives me hope. Unfortunately, it's like you got to be demoralized to the place where you give up on the American dream, but it was a nightmare to begin with. You know, it was all
The American dream?
Yeah, it was all based on conquest and like the OPEC dollar, forcing people to use our dollars.
Well, that's later
capitalizing
on.
off the back of the destruction of Europe and
the
World
American
War II.
dream is something very different.
It's basically that with a single job, you can buy a house, get a car, raise
No, it
2
isn't.
kids.
Some chickens.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
That's the American dream. Is that
No, it
one
isn't.
person from nothing can come up and have a life like a
The
car,
American
a house,
dream
and
is
kids.
upward mobility.
Yeah.
And then what happens is you get a bunch of these communist college students who think it means you can literally not work and just be rich. The American dream was that you could move to America as a Chinese immigrant, move your family into a studio apartment, and then work 80 hours a week until you finally put your kids in college. And then they get jobs making $50,000 a year and don't have to go through what you did. Then they can have cell phones in their own apartment. That was the American dream. And then all of a sudden, these communists come out and they're like, the American dream is dead. Since when was the American dream that you're born to an upper class family, go to college, and then get a mid-range 6-figure job at a tech firm? These are people who get jobs at like Vice and do literally no work all day. Don't even show up half the time, and they're like, the American dream is dead. There's a video. Did you see the viral video of that TikToker?
On Twitter.
On Twitter, the Starbucks?
Yeah. She no.
I had to work 8 hours on Saturday. It's like, oh man, it's a TikToker working at Starbucks crying, saying we need a union because they schedule me to work 8 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and it's wrong and it's not fair. The American dream was that you got to work 16 hours a day. And you got to make enough money to eventually put your kids in a better situation. That was the American dream.
The immigration story is the story of my family. You know, my dad had to sacrifice a lot, risk a lot, and
Fleeing the Soviet Union.
Yeah, I mean, working for essentially slave labor off the books to try to, of course, bring me over to the United States and give me opportunity. And I know I have a lot of opportunities here that I wouldn't have in Poland. I got to take advantage of it. Yeah. I got to make sure that I'm on my A game. I got to make sure I got to work hard because at the end of the day, no one's going to give you anything. And that's a lesson that a lot of these people need to learn immediately.
Here's the American dream. That Luke's family Poland was a Soviet satellite. It wasn't officially Soviet Union. Is that it?
Yeah.
So your family flees this hardship to come to America. And 30 years later, or 20 some odd years later, their son, having his father having sacrificed all of this, his son appears in a Times Square billboard ad a couple times. That's the American dream.
Well,
I don't know. You know, in all seriousness, Luke, do you think your dad ever expected that the life he would give you would lead to something so tremendous?
He made sure to make me aware of it when I was growing up. He was like, I almost died coming here a number of times, so you better make something out of yourself, because if you don't, no one else will. No one's going to give you anything here. You got to work hard for it. And
was he like, why are you chasing around these people with a camera?
Yeah. Like he was like, go to college, become a doctor or a lawyer. I'm like, I hate all of these people, and college is a scam, and the whole economy is gonna fail. And then this was right before 2008. I remember that car ride going to school. I was like, I'll do it for them, because otherwise, I wish I would have never gone to school, but I did it for them.
Same.
I got my little piece of paper. I gave it to them as soon as I graduated. I'm like, here you go. This is pointless. I wasted a lot of money. I wasted my time. I made sure I took no money from them. I worked a full-time job doing that. But this is the kind of ethic that they teach you. You got to work for it. You can't take out loans. You can't borrow money that you don't have. You have to earn it. You have to work for it. And that's something that I see a lot of people missing. People don't have that. People don't have that hunger, or that, people always said, like, hey, they went to journalism school. And I remember being there with them. They're like, yeah, we got to wait 4 years. We're going to go through all the lessons, and we're going to go out there and maybe interview some politicians. I said, screw you. I'm stealing a press credential, finding out how you guys do it, making it on my own, facing the mayor off next week. And I did. And then the mayor ended up calling the school, getting me in trouble. But that's a different story. But I went out there. I was hungry. I hated these politicians who were lying to the people. No journalist was asking them any legitimate questions. And I was like, I have to do it because no one else is doing it. This is my opportunity to finally fill a void in society that could help them. And that's when I went on my spree, confronting all the politicians all throughout the United States.
There's two American dreams in this story. Your mom and your dad fleeing a hardship to give you a better life, and you coming from a family that had to flee and then making a better life for yourself through hard work. That's the American dream. Well, it exists. It's waiting right there for you.
It was coined by James Truslow Adams in 1931, American Dream, and his quote, life should be better and richer and fuller for everyone with opportunity for each according to ability or achievement. I agree with the sentiment. The reality is the Federal Reserve is deciding who gets the money. And if you were born into poverty, you don't have any money. So the dream is like, were you born into wealth?
Did you listen to a word we just said?
Yeah, the upward mobility, like free speech allows for people to create great work. But unless you play the game, the fascist game, you're not.
What game is Luke? Is Luke getting Federal Reserve
He's paying
money?
taxes. He's supporting the war in Iraq by paying taxes.
Oh, come on.
It's not personal, but
I
we've
think
all been part of this.
There's very few people in the world who have done more combating the false narratives of the war in Iraq than Luke.
Dude, Luke is a golden god. Let me just get that on the table.
Look at this guy.
A little exaggeration there, But
My point is, there's a lot of bad things. We fight against them. But the reality is in the United States, which is very different from many other countries on this planet, you can be dirt poor and work hard and succeed. And there's one factor. They found this is scientifically proven: perseverance.
Yeah.
Well,
You can be rich and fail. And you read these studies. They're very fascinating. There was a TED Talk I watched where they said they went to kids who were born to multimillionaire families, to billionaire families, and these kids were failing. Hunter Biden, look at him. How about that? And they say, what was causing them to struggle and fail so often? Now, of course, with rich families, they're never homeless. But the dude's teeth right out of his face. His laptop is full of all this just destruction and chaos. Total failure. There was one factor. No matter how rich you are, no matter how smart you are, no matter how strong you are, perseverance was the one factor in success.
Yeah. And Miles, I think you also take life by the balls as well. You've taken advantage of some crazy situations, traveled everywhere. What's the craziest place you traveled to?
Well, apart from the Timcast studio, I would honestly say many places in Afghanistan, and those people there work very hard as well, and they've got the same issue they do in America, because in America, you pay for an expensive degree, and you can't get a job afterwards, basically, even if it's sometimes a good degree. In Afghanistan, they actually get free and very heavily subsidized degrees as well. So these people have pharmacy jobs, and they're actually just working on the street selling bananas. So they have the same issues, I think, at the end of the day. And that's why I think Afghanistan's crazy. It's basically a failed US state, because that's what it was for 20 years. That's what they did. They made it a puppet state. And then now you're seeing it all crumble down.
You would need 100 years of social engineering to actually succeed with this nation building stuff. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous concept.
This would be controversial. If you really want to nation build, you cannot have the population survive, because at the end of the day, these people are not going to give up their religion and their beliefs, and they're very solid, and they're completely different from Western beliefs. You see that in Europe as well. You see all these people coming across illegally, and they just don't integrate. They just don't get on. And with Afghanistan, it just made them a bit more radical.
This is why you need 100 years. You need to erase previous generations. You need to have the kids who are growing up be brought up in a culture that is westernized American. And then when they grow up, you have to keep separating the younger generations from the older generations, so that 100 years can go by and they can completely have erased their culture and traditions. It's the only way you'd be able to do it.
Tough to do because Afghanistan's desert. So you got like the greater things about the United States that makes us able to live like this with huge cities is the imports of grain and corn and stuff like that. Yeah. Afghanistan has none of that.
Yeah, Afghanistan's technically not even a country at the end of the day. Before the British invaded, it was just an enclave of several states surrounded by mountains, and you would have a village here, and then they wouldn't contact the other village on the other side of the mountain. And it was a bunch of tribes infighting. But when they were pressured by the Russian Empire and the British Empire, they basically came together and said, one struggle, and fought every single person.
With the American Dream conversation, like there is room for upward mobility. I agree with that. But I think this what is this guy's name again that created the term? Anyway, the guy that created the term, it's 1931. It sounds like Federal Reserve propaganda. If you work hard, you can make it. They just want a bunch of slave workers. Like, hard work doesn't get you anywhere if you do it every day at McDonald's. You got to work smart.
That's true. Not true. I disagree with you.
You will be working for $14 an hour until you're 60.
It's about learning service. You can learn by working at McDonald's how customers work, what people are buying, when they're buying it. You could meet like-minded individuals. You could make connections there. You could learn how businesses are run. You could learn customer management. You could learn so much about why McDonald's is successful, and you could take what you learned from being inside of that company, learning their secrets, and implement it in your own business.
That's working smart.
Didn't the CEO of UPS start as like a loader of a truck or something?
I think so, yeah. And there's a lot of those stories.
But how many people can do this, though? How many people could be entrepreneurs? How many people could start their own business or do their own little independent side
Probably
hustle?
They found
1/13,000th of the population.
All that matters is perseverance.
Yes.
As long as you remain convicted to your goals, you succeed.
I don't see. I see a lot of people trying.
Bro,
on YouTube.
there's like Okay, I read tons of scientific studies where they tracked decades of people.
But unless you're smart,
just look it up.
Unless you're smart, you will continue to repeat the same problem that's keeping you in the position.
Ian, a little bit of smart, but hungry. Perseverance and wanting it really bad. That's the key right there that a lot of people are missing, and they give up because their mental mind state is that they're going to be unsuccessful.
You got to be smart to succeed in the United States.
You got to be hungry.
To come from no money and to make money, you got to be
That's
smart.
not true.
But how can you be hungry when you've got loads of fast food be given to you and everything's being handed someone a silver platter? You're not starving, but at the same time you're staying afloat, and that's keeping people complacent.
At the end of the day, it's a choice, and that choice is go to McDonald's, go get some beef liver, go get some vegetables. They're a lot cheaper, but it's all about where you decide to take your time. And I think the one thing that is standing in the way is taxes, regulations, and rules and licenses that do prevent a lot of people from starting their own businesses, from being able to commence commerce. Where in the United States, you have police officers shutting down lemonade stands. If we should be doing one thing, is teaching people positive mindsets, and at the same time getting government out of the way so people could fix our problems financially through just pure real capitalism.
We're going to go to Super Chats. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share the show with your friends. Become a member at timcast.com. We're going to have a members-only show coming up for you at about 11 p.m. And don't forget, head over to losingmymind.net. Pre-save the new song, Genocide. The video's coming out Friday morning along with the song. The song, it's overtly political. We're putting it right before the election for that reason. The music video is even better. Even better. The song is, it's basically about institutions, and there's a reason why it's called Genocide. I'm losing my mind. It is and you'll notice the image on losingmymind.net is a news anchor desk with the COVID, I'm sorry, I didn't say that, a virus. A virus.
An
unknown virus.
A sickness.
An unlabeled sickness.
What is it called? What's that kind of? It's a specific kind of virus.
I don't know.
COVID's a specific type of virus. What kind of virus?
Coronavirus?
It's a coronavirus. Yes.
Yes.
No,
It's a nondescript
you're on the nail.
coronavirus.
Yes.
Is there a smiley face? There's a smiley face.
So it's gorgeous.
All right, here we go. Matthew Reckamp says, Seamus has made several parody political ads recently. Could you ask him for me what it would take to get him to buy ad space on YouTube for them? Perhaps. I don't know. I don't know what you're referring to, though. All right. Raymond G. Stanley Jr. In the chat, he says, Tim, harumph, I say. No amnesty, no compromise, no mas. We try to be reasonable. They have decided this for us. Fine. Now fire with fire is the only way. They're going to wish they just let us just be. I'm saying, I hope many of these MAGA Republicans file subpoenas, launch investigations, Joe Biden gets impeached, all of that stuff we saw under Democrats. Normies Get Out says, Luke, I'll buy all your shirts if you say abolish the ATF in your intro.
Well, it's too late
I'll
for
say
that, but I should make an abolish the ATF shirt. But yeah, abolish the ATF. Obviously.
Why wouldn't he say that? That's like an easy
common
one.
sense
That's
rationale.
like wanting money.
I saw that one and I thought he meant you have to abolish the actual agency and then he would buy all the shirts. But you don't have to buy all the shirts. But thank you for that.
Darkos says, I didn't believe Ian was 43. And when I look him up, I can't find his current age anywhere except for a place that said he was 31 and went by CrossMac.
Yeah, that's my first YouTube channel is CrossMac. And you can see I was 26 when I started making videos in 2006, 27, something like that. Born in 79. I don't know how to confirm it, though.
Ian's actually 23.
23 years old.
23 years old. That's right. He's a very young man. Very young. Let's see what we got here. Toy News Quarterly says, if politics are frustrating you, I'm starting a magazine focused on action figures and toy photography. Find me on on Instagram. Okay, ISTgram. There you go. I Am says, Eon is playing the slow game, and that's how the left always wins, by obstructing every move along the way. He needs a rapid action plan to win. Right. He goes in and says, I can't act rationally. I'm going to talk to them. And then they just slowly erode and claw. And then eventually he's just sitting there along with the woke council being like, I understand why you want to ban Alex Jones again. Yeah, that makes sense. We can't let him back on the platform. There you go.
There's a good Elon impression down.
Alahad says, Tim, how come you are releasing the song the same day as Tom McDonald? Too much awesomeness for me. Thank you for recommending his music. Much love from Mexico. Tom McDonald's fantastic. He's got a song coming out. So the reason people put music out on Fridays is because that's when Billboard begins calculating the metrics for the song. And the reason why Friday is going to be a big song release day, especially if you do political music, is because the election is that Tuesday. So we really want this song to hit right before the election. We want it, people on Monday to be listening to it. The video itself, I think it's probably going to be controversial. It literally will be controversial and probably generate a bunch of. I'll end up trending on Twitter because of it. And then Ian's got the best part in it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say too much, but the video itself, we're just pushing some boundaries.
Great surprise guests. That's all I'll say. I thought so too. A great surprise guest.
Technically not. Technically not.
Technically so.
Technically not.
Metaphorically.
For what's the right word to say this? Figurative guests.
Yes.
And legally distinct from guests' appearances.
Yes.
There you go. All right, everyone, you're all hyped up. Losingmymind.net. Okay. Mizero says, Tim, can you shout out one very important thought by Boards of Canada? I think everyone should hear it. Well, there you go. Is it a song or something?
Yeah, it is. Boards of Canada.
Oh, cool. All right. Samuel Latcher says, get ready for lots of delayed election results due to extended vote counting. Tim, where are the 4 p.m. segments? I never see them on YouTube. They're on YouTube? I don't know.
I see them.
Yeah. They're there. Friday and Monday I did live streams though. So,
that might be it.
yeah, if you didn't see those two, but it's crazy. YouTube is basically screaming in my face to do live streams instead of recorded segments because they got like double the views of a standard video by going live. So it could just be that there was really big news, sure, but I think YouTube probably just likes live streams. Probably. KCB says, question for Ian. If given the choice between open source internet or perfecting nanotube nano onion technology, which are you picking?
Open sourcing, it's not enough. If you were going to free the software code of large social networks, I'd choose that. But it needs to be AGPL3 as a software license because people are going to take them and add things to it. And we need the additions to also be free. I go with that. We can make the graphene on our own.
Chad says, Tim, it's Chad from Twitter. Please return my wife's calls, you stud. No. She needs to leave me alone. I guess. I don't know. Sure. All right. Gabriel Martinez says, Luke, Satan was unavailable. It's called the ADL. Revelations 2:9. Yikes. Caper2X says, the quarterings Jeremy is right. Turning Twitter around is like steering a super tanker. It's impossible to do it on a dime. Let's give Elon time to understand the mechanics of the place before starting the radical changes.
Yeah, but don't add fuel when it's going in the wrong direction. And that's exactly what he did.
Miss Mary says, I hope everyone realizes that Elon is up against a whole lot of powerful people who could destroy the entire platform at their whim. He has to work with what he has until he can build what he wants. Agreed. Michael D'Ambrosio. Hey, Tim, native Fredneck here. Kinda odd having my hometown always talked about of such a random place. Libs and Democrats invaded out west to flee what they created in Baltimore and PG and DC. That's right. Now they're coming here. They're coming to West Virginia. Yo, man. It's funny because in West Virginia, there's raccoons, there's bears, there's critters, and people go out and will, use guns depending on the critter. And then you can tell when someone's from DC because they'll post online complaining about like the gunshots or whatever. And then all the natives are just like, is this a joke? Like, I remember I went outside, we're even in Maryland, and it sounds like automatic gunfire going off for like 2 hours. Because there's just a ton of people all shooting guns like crazy. And this is Maryland, but when you're in Western Maryland, you're basically West Virginia. These counties tried to secede. They issued letters like, we want to join West Virginia. We don't like Maryland. I think that'd be great. What is this? Bilks. I can't remember what your name is, but he says, came across a Gizmodo article today on Yahoo related to Julie Powell's last tweet. They say you capitalize on premature deaths to push a narrative, basically. Sounds like slander to me. Yeah, she was the lady who, she died. She was 49. And her last tweet was that she had black, hairy tongue. Oof. Yeah, dead cells on her tongue.
Her previous tweets were also just very
scary
shocking
stories,
and
man.
Very bombastic.
Yeah.
Stinky Whizzleteats says, where's the beef, Elon? Tim Pool. The beef. Yeah, we bought those epic protein bars.
Oh, I just had one.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's
It
crazy.
melts in my mouth.
And it's
meat.
yeah, it's meat.
Yeah.
Which one did you with the beef or
Yeah,
venison?
yeah, the jalapeno.
Jalapeno beef, so good. So we got protein bars. We wanted to get like the least amount of ingredients possible, and it's just like pepper, garlic, onions, beef.
Did you have one, Mile? You
No,
should
I
take-
need one.
Yeah, for
you got to throw me one later.
Yeah, we got a
Oh,
bunch of
okay.
them. We'll grab one
Oh,
when we do the
excellent.
members
They're
only.
so good. Real salty though. You don't need more than one.
No,
They're
that's
not that
okay.
salty.
Unless you're working out a lot, I
They're
guess.
not that salty.
I had two and I oversalted, but
you
I wasn't.
sure?
I wasn't sweating.
I don't think there's a lot of salt in them.
They're really made for if you're on the road or if you're working out. Like that is really what those things are for.
Yeah.
Replenish your salt.
Whoa, look at this. Mike E says, cut all the excess carbs in my diet this time last year after hearing Tim's success with it. I started at 395 last year and I weighed in at 300 today. Woo!
yeah.
Congratulations,
Bravo.
dude.
Wow.
Yeah, props, man.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Get those sugars out of there, man.
Good job, man.
I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'll just tell you what I did. I got rid of the sugar and I dropped 30 pounds in I dropped 20 pounds in like a month. And then after that, like a couple months later, the next 10 just came off. So that's what it's all about. Get those sugars out of there. And you know what I find too? It's like, if you can go a few days without the sugar, you get disgusted by it almost.
Yeah, definitely.
We got like bubble tea or whatever. And those little balls are very sugar. They're starchy.
Tapioca balls.
Yeah, but like, they told me they don't put extra sugar in it. And when I gave it to me, I took a sip and it tasted like drinking like actual Mrs. Butterworth's. It was
Yeah.
like, imagine someone, I'm just like, I can't do this, man.
Yeah, the sugary drinks is where they get you. There's so much high fructose corn syrup in there. And if you start cutting it down, if you have a full dose of it, like I remember before a couple years ago, I just had, full doses of full drinks. And I'm like, this is absolutely insane. And you just feel nasty when you drink it.
Obviously, I've done the complete opposite. When coming to America, I've eaten the typical American diet of just fast food every single day, just because I want to try it, and I feel terrible, man. It's so bad.
Yeah.
When I go home, I'm going to lose so much weight.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A is worth it sometimes.
Atypical American diet. That's what I want to start referring to that crap as.
Oh, yeah.
That is an atypical lifestyle.
All right, CJB says, Tim, you neglect to consider Elon may be using these organizations on the disinfo board to run interference with media, advertisers, and app stores. It really could be political chess and Musk gets final say on bans. I have considered that, and my point is, with the opening segment, even after he brought these people in, they still attacked him. Even after he said, we are going to police hate speech, they're still quitting the platform. There is nothing you can do. They're psychotic and in a cult. So Elon can keep being like, I'm going to talk to them and play 4D chess. Doesn't matter. Nothing he does is going to appease a bunch of cultists. But I get it, to be fair. He's trying. Sure, let's see what happens. I still think we're looking at a net positive with his purchase, but What do we got? Keel says, Elon needs to say F the money. He could take any of his private companies public and increase his net worth overnight. Someone has to say no to government. Yeah. SpaceX, it's not public. There's a lot of money sitting right there.
Yeah, but you know who's going to own the shares? The leftists, and then they go control it. They'll have a majority.
Yeah, it depends on how many he sells.
He's just
We're
delayed
not going to
inevitable.
Mars. We're going to Uranus.
No, Uranus.
Juiced Cyber New Type says, at this point, the best we can hope for is that Elon runs Twitter into the ground and it ceases to exist. Then a better alternative can rise up. Yeah, I mean, if tomorrow I woke up, like I said, it's a picture of Elon's face winking, being like, Twitter's gone, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm on Truth Social, I guess. Just go there. I mean, I just don't really care for Twitter. It was already run into the ground by the previous administration. Yeah. And I sat there and I talked with Jack and Vijaya, and they're psychotic. Jack Dorsey, I think, is actually one of the worst. People say, like, he was a figurehead. He didn't really have any power or authority. The dude had public persuasion. He could have said things, and that would have been enough. But he didn't even do that. So spare me. I don't believe he was trying to do anything, man. Okay, where are we at? Jason Lippert says, I think Elon's goal is to have Twitter follow the Overton window rather than pushing the Overton window. Maybe. Anthony Richardson says, soon, MTG as House Speaker 2023. How do we make this happen? Convince a bunch of rhinos not to vote for Kevin McCarthy? Good luck. David Opera says, if you want to haggle with Elon over the price of Twitter Blue, then $4.20 is your best bet. I canceled my Twitter Blue today when I saw that Elon was consorting with New Knowledge and these grievance organizations. I was like, I signed up when they announced it because they said that it gives you access to all these different news organizations so you can read their stuff. And I was like, okay, so instead of giving the Washington Post $10 a month and the Wall Street Journal as other organizations, I can just give one fee to Twitter and then read these articles. It never worked. It would be like free with Twitter Blue, and I'd click it and it just wouldn't work. And then I just never got around to getting rid of it. Then when I saw Elon was like, I'm going to charge money and then go work with these grievance organizations, I was like, I'm out. I'm more than willing to pay for Twitter at a moment's notice. The moment I see him restore these people, like you put back on Project Veritas, I'll sign right back up. How about that? I want to see some real actions to restore those who were falsely removed. And he's saying it's going to take a few weeks, and it's like, okay, well, then in a few weeks I'll sign back up. For the time being, I ain't giving you any more money.
Yeah.
And if it's in a couple of weeks, then they're not going to lose anything. How about that? But I don't think anyone should give Twitter money until Elon unbans the political prisoners. There's absolutely no reason to do it, not for a blue check or anything else. If he's not going to actually stand up for free speech, don't give a garbage platform free money. The left is mad because he's actually going to start. He's argued that. So they're saying they're not going to pay him because he wants free speech. Okay, well, pick where you're getting your money from. Powder PZ says Crowder got suspended from YouTube for 2 weeks. He hasn't been given a reason yet. Now he won't be able to live stream the election. Yo, that's legit insane.
Dude, I wonder if that's from the video we were watching earlier. He had that doctor on.
Nope, that was on Rumble.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's been interviewing
Now that he's on Rumble, he can say whatever. But they didn't give him a reason why they gave him a strike.
Check out Crowder on Rumble. He's been saying some interesting stuff.
Yeah, uncensored.
And he deserves a reason, you guys. Send him something.
I think he needs to sue. Crowder, you should file a lawsuit immediately. I'm not even kidding. We saw what happened with Alex Berenson. File a lawsuit if they're not giving you I suppose the issue is if they don't give you a reason, that's their actual legal defense. It's when they give you a reason, you have a standing to sue because now they're in breach of contract if their reason is BS.
Yeah, I don't think it's ethical to ban anyone for any reason at any time. I just don't think
it's like they're trying to scare him by not telling him what he exactly did. So he, again, is just afraid to even talk.
Doug Blask says, you're dropping on the same day as Tom McDonald? Bold move, Tim. Maybe not smart, but bold. Actually, it's ridiculously smart. Why would it be a bad thing? It's like it's not like a song is a 3-hour movie. We're both going to put out songs that are be between 3 and 4 minutes. Shout out to Tom McDonald. We'll shout out his song, and you can listen to both of them.
Yeah, you could support both artists. Like vote with your dollar. Duh.
Yeah, but we're also doing big marketing pushes and big traditional stuff. So actually, I think the song is going to do substantially better than the first song we put out. So we put out Only Ever Wanted, it was at the end of September. And this is like, it's an apolitical song. So we know that we're going to get a bunch of attention from the first song we put out. So we're going to put it out. It did really well. It charted on a bunch of different charts across the board on Billboard, hit number 2 in sales. And so all really, really good. Now everyone knows that we do music. The next one's got to be meaningful. So we're putting out a political song right before the election and we're doing traditional marketing with it. So I think it's going to do way better actually, but we'll see. Gerald Armstrong says, Lord Miles, you have competition now since Tim is a Scottish lord. That's right. Yeah, I showed him right when he walked in that I'm a lord.
It's very nice, but my certificate's a little bit fancier. Plus, is it on your bank card yet?
No, can I do that?
Oh, yeah. You walk into the bank, you pick the busiest hour, right, because they won't care, they're not paid enough. And you go with a nice suit, so you think, wow, you're wearing a suit, you can't be wrong, just like every banker. And then you just slide across, say you bought some land in Scotland, they say, wow, so true, and just put it on your credit file.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know how that works in the US, though. Is that, you're talking about US or UK?
UK, but I think it's very similar. Plus, it's worth a try, man, to think about it.
I just bring in the little plaque. It says proclamation, you're a lord.
Yeah, you can have mail
exactly.
start saying Lord Poole that arrives at the house.
Yeah.
Or the
Lord.
I've looked into it a little bit. I believe it's possible.
I own land.
Thank you, my lord.
I'll try.
You're not my lord.
I
You're just
got to
our
be
lord.
honest, though. I'm pretty sure I can pull up my app for my credit card right now, and they let you put any name you want in. So this is City Card. When they announced they're doing the identity card or whatever it's called, where you can name yourself whatever you want, and they'll give you the card, people put in racial slurs, and it worked.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got a few ideas back home.
Yikes, man. Jason Van Cleve says, you say virtue signal, but what we have seen from Elon is an attempt to be as transparent as possible. I get it. I also think it's funny that they dropped the price from $20 a month to $8 because he haggled with, who was it?
Stephen King.
Yeah, Stephen King.
He was haggling with Stephen King on Twitter, and they dropped the price out. That's hilarious.
Big ask. He did the big ask.
Well, somebody commented. They said, in case you were wondering if Elon thought this through, he's currently haggling the price of Twitter Blue with Stephen King on Twitter. And I'm like, that's actually really funny. He didn't plan this one out. All right. Agamemnon's Gym Bag says, Lord Miles, you absolute legend. Loved watching you and Callum in Afghanistan. Where are you heading next?
Oh, thank you. Well, I can't talk about where I'm going next because the country might not let me in. But on the side, there's an totally unrelated. There's an island called Snake Island in Brazil. So if you guys want to Google that and look into it, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
You were there with Callum? So there's the two of you guys. I didn't know you were there with them. I watched the video.
I invited him to Afghanistan as a joke, and he actually went through with it. And I thought, well, why not? Okay.
That was powerful, man. That was
good.
Yeah.
Watching the Taliban people, the one spokesman for the Taliban, they was like, what do you think of Joe Biden? The guy's like, we all love Joe Biden because he left us all this equipment that you see them driving behind
Yeah, exactly. No, when I went to the weapons market in one of my YouTube videos, I bought ex-US military gear and just started shooting with it. I went shooting the Taliban. The armored vehicles, the Humvees. In America, they cost around $1 million to buy. Over there, $15,000. Wow. I saw 50 pieces of night vision goggles. They retail here $22,000. Over there, $300 a piece.
Hey, we got to go to Afghanistan.
The issue is the sanctions mean you can't get them out. I actually thought, I could take it through the Horn of Africa, then go through this way, and then I realized I'll be thrown in a US black site for like 50 years.
I wonder if they would just be like,
Yeah,
for those that are just listening, I'm holding up my hand. Give it back. Get out of here. Like it's theirs.
I would have been like, my tax dollars paid for this. I'm getting it back at a lower cost.
But that's evidence that the
$300, $20,000 night vision.
Biden ordered to surrender. The equipment is now being sold on the black market.
Oh yeah, to China. And I mean, if Joe Biden hit me up and goes, can you get some of that stuff out? I could get a few units out, guaranteed. He has to pay me a little bit.
Yeah, why would they not just buy it back at that point?
Yeah, exactly. But
Beastly Devil says, Tim, I told you to watch Jordan Klepper's segment on visiting GOP rallies and spoke with Adam Kinzinger that claims if a civil war was to happen, it would be the right-wingers that would die, no question. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. I don't think, we've talked about this quite a bit. With the right thinks they're going to win no matter what, I don't think that's necessarily true. People don't understand what exactly will go down. In the Civil War, these generals were West Point graduates. They were United States generals and military men who then switched. So you have no idea what would happen. There could be some high-ranking dude who goes, well, my family, is in California. So sorry, guys, I'm out. And then you have no idea who you'll be fighting. Yep. James Eaton says, what's stopping Dems going nuclear on the way out? They are. I mean, but what can they do? Oh, this one's interesting. David C. Kronk Sr. says, according to the Brazilian constitution, the military is the arbiter of election issues.
Huh.
Well, there you go, I guess. We'll see what happens, man. Chrome Gear IRL says, just saw a commercial of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes for dinner.
Oh.
That's the right response there.
Yeah, you beat me to it. Frosted Flakes, what is it? Sugar-coated starch wads.
Wow, I should feed this to my children.
Oh, so gross. Frosted Flakes for dinner.
Isn't it kind of weird that we pour milk over cereal grains and then eat them?
Yeah, animal fat and sugar do not go well together.
No.
That's
like a
something
weird
I've
thing.
been learning.
Yeah.
One day I went downstairs and there was a carton of half and half just on the table, and I was like, half and half? What's going on?
Wait, what's half
and
and
then
half?
Half and half is it's like milk liquids removed, so it's heavy. It's a mix of cream. How do you describe it? It's half and half because it's like half cream, half milk. Mm-hmm. So it's a very heavy creamed milk or whatever.
Just a dessert then, basically.
It's what?
Just a dessert.
Not really. We use it for coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But normally people put milk in their cereal. And then I came down and it was half and half in a carton. And then Seamus walks over and pours the half and half into his bowl of cereal. And I was just like, dude, what are you doing?
That's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it's delicious.
Yeah, for sure.
Apparently half and half in
No wonder he's all cracked out all the time.
What is it?
In some cafes in Brussels, half and half, Dutch for half and half, is a mixture of white wine and champagne.
Okay.
So depends on where you are.
I don't use half and half. I use heavy cream.
Yeah.
We have excellent local farm organic heavy cream. It is so amazing. You put that in your coffee. That's what you're supposed to do.
And do you whip it up?
No,
Dude,
just
whip
pour
it
it
up. It gets really... Dude, put it in, put a little sugar on it, and then whip it up.
Sugar? Get out of here.
Or I did coconut sugar. You can do whatever. But I mean, just a little. You
So,
don't need to. And then you
here's
whip it
the
up
funny
into this
thing.
thick wad of cream.
You guys don't have half and half.
No, we just have terrible food in England.
Oh, okay. So sometimes people just call it cream.
Oh yeah, okay.
A coffee with cream, and they'll bring out a little thing of half and half. And I remember I was in London, and I was at a hotel, and I was ordering breakfast, and I said, I'll have coffee with cream. And they went, with cream? And then I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay. And then she looked confused and walked away, and I was like, huh? And then she came back with heavy whipping cream.
Oh,
yeah.
I see, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
she's
common.
like, okay. And then I was like, that's awesome. All right. This was a long time ago. I didn't normally put heavy cream in my coffee. Now I do it regularly every morning. That's what I have. I have coffee, a nitro cold brew with heavy whipping cream. And then it takes me like 5 hours to drink that 1 cup because I drink it slowly. And then I have eggs and bacon for breakfast.
So I whip the cream before I put the coffee in. It's cool. Check it out. If you have one of those...
Do you have a little,
I could have it as
whisk,
a
or do you have that
protein
little
powder.
machine that you
it's like
spin
a
around in?
vibrating... it has a battery in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it froths it. Ooh,
Yeah.
it's so thick and big.
Sometimes I'll put it in the blender with ice, and then it makes almost like a milkshake.
Yeah, it's good.
Super awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Gamer Max says Schumer is running in New York and up 12 right now. I think Washington and Colorado are more likely wild cards. Just go vote.
Go vote,
If
y'all.
every single Republican in New York voted, it would be a Republican state, hands down. But too many people are like, I can't win, so I'm not going to do it.
Don't get complacent, chat.
Yeah, you just got to go out and vote. Just go do
vote.
it. Just go do it. All right, let's grab one more. Eddie F says, Luke, can you please make a Get Hammered shirt?
That's a little bit over the target there. That's a little bit too spicy, and I would feel bad making money off of someone getting really severely hurt, so I would rather not do that. But I appreciate the idea.
All right, everybody. If you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share the show with your friends? Head over to losingmymind.net, and you can pre-save the new song, Genocide, Losing My Mind, and you'll notice the graphic kind of explains what the video is going to be about, so it's going to be really great when we drop this video on Friday and the song comes out. I think you guys will get a kick out of it. It's overtly political. And we're going to have some legally distinct from guests appearing in the video. That's going to be really, really fun. So head over to timcast.com, become a member. We're going to have a members-only show coming up for you in a little bit. And follow the show at Timcast IRL. You can follow me at Timcast. Lord Miles, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter. Just search Lord Miles if Twitter's still around in a few weeks. And go and follow. I'm going on a good adventure, so I think you guys might enjoy.
Right on.
Could you tell me privately your next adventure? Not now, but like after the show.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you privately. I've got some ideas. I think you'll be a little concerned. But
If you'll have me, I'll join. Maybe. Potentially.
You might need life insurance, man.
That's fine. I already dealt with that stuff. My website is lukeuncensored.com. I did a really interesting not safe for work video today on that platform. I'm doing an AMA on there very soon as well, and I'm very happy I have it because, again, what's happening with Twitter is concerning, but no matter what, having your own platform, having your own system, having everything in your controls is important, and that's what I have, and that's what I'm building on lukeuncensored.com. See you there.
Well, everyone, I will be seeing you later. Ian Crossland, follow me at iancrossland.net. Pick up my book, Writing in the Dark. If you don't have a copy yet, you can get it on Amazon and other places where books are sold. And also, I'll be streaming on Twitch from day to day. We'll figure out the schedule as it goes. Follow me on Twitter to find out when I go live, like I did earlier today. Miles, your work is really impressive. You're really impressive, man. It's really cool stuff.
Thank you.
And
Ballsy stuff.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. I want to remind you, do not put your faith in another human to get you by in this life. Do not wait for a superhero to come and save you. It's not Elon. It's not me. It's not Tim. It's nobody. It is you.
It might
You
be
are in
Luke.
control of it. It might be Luke, though.
No. I don't want that. I don't
Luke
want
might
that.
actually know the
no.
Force.
No.
I think he's actually a Jedi. It's not just a coincidence. We're in a simulation. Take care of yourself. Do your best. And build your own network. Just kidding. But do it, dude.
Yeah.
Spin up your own social network while we're at it. Then we can federate.
All right.
Hey, guys, I'll be in the comments tonight, and my name's Serge.com. See you guys next time.
We will see all of you over at timcast.com for the members-only segment. Thanks for hanging out.
Cheers.